But ass.
What is good, chat? How are we doing today? Welcome to another show, chat. It seems like every day that goes by, it reminds us why Fresh remains the number two mic on the show, right? I mean, we're starting to realize that this guy, he actually really doesn't have skills. Okay. And it's honestly embarrassing. Okay. Even just a simple debate with a fellow pill popper like Sneako, it seems like an impossible task. Now, here's the thing. We're going to go over this. And I would say we got to give Fresh some credit here because, listen, all right. Uh, listen. Fresh actually held Sneako accountable because here's the thing, chat. How did this debate all come about? How did this all come to be, right? Well, here's the thing. People are getting canceled. Okay, there are a lot of people right now getting canceled. Okay, it's not just Fresh and Fit; it's a bunch of all these people, and they're starting to realize, chat, that you know what? We're losing money. We're losing a lot of money. We're losing a lot of supporters. Okay, and it's not as cool as it used to be. This whole free speech warrior. I'm a free speech warrior. That whole nonsense. Okay, it seems as though that is starting to become a thing of the past because these guys are starting to get hit where it hurt. Okay, and one of the biggest casualties that the whole free speech has affected, okay, these freedom fighters, is Candace Owens, okay? Candace Owens has been the biggest casualty thus far of this whole free speech war that's been going on, okay? She just recently got canceled. She got canceled off of YouTube and all these other things because they're saying, hey, you know what, Candace, we're starting to realize your rhetoric is borderline serious anti-Semitic, right? You're promoting serious anti-Semitism, right? So that's what's going on, and YouTube canderized. Hey, you can't be surprised, Candy, when your candy has got canned, okay? Because that's what happened. She got fired essentially from YouTube's partnership program, okay? And now she's crying about it on YouTube or Twitter, I'm sorry, right? Because that's what all these guys do. They LARP as freedom warriors, free speech warriors. But then when they get slapped with the consequences of what it means to be a free speech warrior on a private platform, then they try to play the victim. They're all playing victim. All I was doing was fighting for free speech. All I was doing was trying to, make America great again. I was trying to unite the alt-right, and I thought it was going to go well, but I was wrong. It went left. Right? Because here's the thing. They always play the victim card. they always play the victim card, and it's starting to get annoying because y'all can't be internet tough guys, and then when you get the consequences of your actions, all of a sudden they're attacking me, I'm being persecuted, look, please make me a martyr. What I'm starting to notice, chat, a lot of these guys in the pill popping spaces and these cult right spaces, what's starting to happen is there's a desperation, a weird desperation to be martyrs for a free speech cause, right? At first, listen, these guys usually take it as a badge of honor, right? This would be a badge of honor as they would go here and get canceled, and then they'll brag about it. They wear badge, say, hey, look, I'm part of the Castle Club, okay? I got canceled by mainstream media. But over time, what's starting to happen now is as these guys start getting a hit in their pocketbooks, okay, they're starting to realize, okay, being a martyr isn't what it is. And some of these new guys, right, or at least these new guys who are being introduced to martyrdom, right, like Candace Owens, congratulations, they're starting to realize it's not so good. Right now, Candace is going to be fine. She's literally married to a rich aristocrat, okay? So she's going to be all right, okay? So a little YouTube money not happening, it's fine. Hey, Candace, it's not going to hurt you to go make a sandwich for your husband, okay? We all know he's not into you, but at least, put in the effort, okay? Come on. I mean, what you going to do now? You ain't got a job on YouTube no more, right? Them super chats, ad revenue not paying you no more, so it's donezo. So it all started because of this tweet that is going viral because Candace is crying on Twitter, and essentially Fresh and Fit decided to react to it because they know Candace, obviously, and they are currently in the same boat, obviously. So yeah, they decided to have a discussion about this mess, and Sneako was also involved in the discussion or debate it turned into. And oh my goodness, chat, how hilarious this was. And with this, like, Fresh, bro, like, you you have your moments of brilliance, but G, you're a certified moron. On God. On God you are, bro. Because here's the thing, chat. All right, here's the thing. Fresh, when he tries to make a point during a debate, like, the point gets lost halfway through. And then it's like half of it, it's like because Fresh has this uncanny ability to formulate an argument in his mind, and he argues with himself, and he thinks, oh yeah, dope. And then when he opens his mouth to repeat said argument, everyone around is looking around like, bro, spit it out. What the fuck are you trying to say? We don't get it, right? Like, what's your fucking point? And you're going to notice a pattern throughout this whole entire debate with Fresh where it seems like he's so sure of what he's trying to get at. And yet when he opens his mouth, it's like, bro, what the fuck? What are you saying, Fresh? Like, my goodness, bro, you're horrible. You're horrible at this, right? So it is what the hell it is, right? But he did have a moment to shine, right? Where he absolutely pressed Sneako on getting canceled. Because yes, Sneako is also part of the cancel club, okay? And this is why they're having a debate stream, because Fresh and Fit are canceled, and Sneako himself got canceled. Okay, so now they're all sitting around talking about it, but Fresh decided to flip the bar on him and say, hey, bro, now listen, how did you feel, when you got canceled? I mean, outwardly now you're saying, Sneako, that everything's good and honky dory, right? Yeah, no regrets. You wouldn't, if you had a chance to go through it again, you would do it again, right? So Fresh was basically making a point like, listen, you say all this stuff, Sneako, but we're looking at you right now, and clearly you regret this decision, right? And Sneako basically was like, huh? No. I didn't regret it. What? No. I'm perfectly fine where I am. I'm perfectly fine. And it was crazy funny because the way Sneako was trying to just stonewall the whole thing, right, and act oblivious like he didn't know what Fresh was talking about, right? And to be fair, there's a way that Fresh could have actually delivered his argument, but we still kind of knew what Fresh was getting at. And it's the truth. Sneako, you dropped the ball too, okay? Because Fresh told, even Fresh Prince CEO Myron, they told you to stop when you were on your trajectory trying to be Lil Andrew Tate. And we were like, bro, the route Andrew Tate got, he got canceled. He got canceled on all platforms. You're trying to be him right now. Essentially, listen, do not be surprised if you get canceled yourself. Even Fresh and Fit warned you. And to give Fresh credit, because Fresh brought it up. Fresh brought it up. He said, listen, we told you. And then when we were while shopping, and you got the notification that your YouTube channel was terminated, right? And you had over $100,000 waiting to get paid out in there, right? We saw how devastated you were, right? And now you're on Rumble, sure, and you're doing things fine, but how awesome would it have been to still have your YouTube cash, right? Now, with Sneako in denial, one thing was made obvious to me while Fresh was asking this question, chat, and when he was trying to make a point. And now I'm slowly starting to think about it, or at least ponder on it a little more deeply, right? And that's the way Fresh asked the question, because it's almost like he's thinking, huh, Sneako, I know you regret this decision to go the free speech alt-right route, because deep down, I kind of regret it too. Right? So I'm starting to sense a little hint of regret on at least one member of the Fresh and Fit platform, in this case, Fresh, right? I'm starting to notice that Fresh is slowly starting to, backpedal a little bit, or not even backpedal, but like at least, grow a backbone for himself, right? It seems like he's slowly starting to butt up against the bullshit that Myron's on. Because one of the main things that Candace got counseled for is a lot of this fucking anti-Semitic Jew hating shit, right? It's getting too much, because we all know a lot of these guys have jumped onto it, right? A lot of these Russian paid bots over here, right? So you notice these guys, you're harping too much on one thing. It's like, that's crazy. And then not only that, you start, talking about babies, and you're going into, and not even that, you're going after victims of Andrew Tate. Like you're just a whole mess, Candace. Like I don't even know what's going on. You're a whole mess, girl. You need help, okay? You need Jesus, okay? You need him, all right? But again, all that stuff y'all were doing, and I'm thinking now, Fresh is seeing Myron go down the same path. I mean, think about it, folks. Chad, we've seen Myron go down the alt-right white nationalist path. Okay? They've been down that path. Matter of fact, Myron just got kicked off that path not too recently, right? And we just reacted to that. Okay? So again, we're noticing these patterns, and maybe Fresh is sitting back, observing this thing, and thinking to himself, what if I could be more than a B mic? What if I could be more than a B Mac? I'm Fresh Prince CEO, baby. I got potential. Okay, I, I could do better than Myron, because right now this Jew stuff that Myron's on. I don't know. Like I'm starting to feel the burden of getting canceled. I used to make money. I used to have my Lambos, and now we can't even afford these OnlyFans thoughts to come on the show, because this fuckhead over here Fit want to go ahead and go all fucking anti-Semitic on us. Like, I mean, why you gotta go anti-Semitic on us, bro? Huh? Why you gotta do that, Myron? So I feel like that's the internal pressure Fresh is feeling right now, where he's slowly starting to buck up against the system. Because in this case, it's true. It's honestly true. If you see one of your co-hosts like going down a path where it's even more hateful, and it's even more xenophobic, it's even more just like it's even more crazy when you start talking about the racist shit that he's a part of. Obviously, that ruins the brand, unless you want your brand to be known for, hey, I'm cool with guys who have SS Nazis as their avatars. Like, unless you're just okay with that and being part of a platform with that, at some point in time, it's got to click in for somebody, to say, hey, maybe I don't want to be associated with that. Huh? How about I don't want to be a part of that, right? And that's probably what Fresh is feeling right now, but he still can't figure out how to articulate or get it into his proper words. So we're going to react to that. It's going to be hilarious. So chat, with that being said, let's go ahead and go into the first thing, okay? The first thing is what kicked this whole shit off, okay? And that is Candace Owens basically announcing that she got canceled. Now, this was a post by Apostate Prophet. Shout out to Apostate Prophet. He also clowns Andrew Tate too. That's a good one, like, right? He's got good Andrew Tate videos. But he goes in, and I love this point he makes, right? He says, accused Jews of child sacrifice and blood rituals, suggested Nazi atrocities in World War II that were exaggerated. She did. She pulled the Nick Fuentes, but she was a black woman. And then she said she justified Nazi book burnings, claimed Jews believe in spreading sexual perversion and dominating the world. Now she's playing victim and accusing Jews again, right? Because again, that's what they all do. You get canceled in media, blame the Jews, right? I think the Jews are now the effective butt of the media jokes, right? And I think it's hilarious because like Jews themselves, if they were so good at media control, like you would think they'd have a better PR, right? But I don't know. It's not looking good for a lot of Jewish communities right now. Their PR is horrible. A lot of people do not. I mean, just say what you want, bro. You have real life conversations. A lot of people feel iffy about Israel and what's going on right now. So clearly they don't control shit because like their public perception of them it just sucks. Okay, so that's why all this conspiracy shit that people start to push. It's like, bro, okay, if they were so good at media, you would think they'd be better at it, right? But again, no. Now she's blaming the Jews because she got canceled, even though a lot of things that got her canceled was because of her own doing. You notice a pattern here? When these bozos get canceled because they want to go ahead and be free speech absolutists on YouTube, right? And then they get canceled. Now they start blaming conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. You're on a private platform. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Like, how do y'all not get this? You're on a private platform. You would have an actual case if the government, let's say, decides, you know what, Candace, we're not going to let you in town hall no more. Or whatever. We're not going to invite you up to speak at public places. We're going to ban you from public areas. We're going to ban you from all these areas where where you have the right to be, but you're not supposed to. We're going to block you from being there. You would have a point. You would have people getting up in arms, people on the left and the right? They will get up and say, hey, you can't do that to her. That's crazy. Like, why are you blocking her right to protest or right to free speech or whatnot? But that's not what's happening here. You guys are willingly choosing these private platforms who make money off of ad revenues, meaning there are whole corporations out there who sell to the vast majority of people, and they don't want their brand associated with you fucks. Who knows? Maybe they like selling to people who believe in certain things or don't believe in certain things. You don't know that. But when you're on a platform that does know that, like Google or YouTube, that keeps listen, people think that Google is just a fucking a web browser or like a, what do you call it? Ad company, or not ad company, web browsing company, whatever it is, right? They control the internet with the browsing and whatnot. No, all Google is ads. It's all ads. Google is the biggest ad fucking platform in the planet. That's how they make money. What do you think? You think it's streaming on or you think YouTube makes the money? You think all these other things makes the money? Hell no, it's the ads. These guys have a monopoly on advertisement. Okay, so meaning they're heavily influenced by outside forces like these different companies. So if you go on their platform, you sign something called a TOS, right? Or you agree to it. And the TOS basically prohibits things that are against the best interest of their partners or advertisers. You break the rules multiple times. They give you different leeways. Either they demonetize you for a little bit or they demonetize certain things, right? But you keep pushing, and then when you finally get got, all of a sudden, woe is me. That's what the game these people play, chat. And somehow, at some point, you got to get sick of this. Like, you have to stop this. It is not healthy, Candace. You started this shit. It wasn't the Jews. So she says, thus far, I have 0 strikes on my channel. YouTube creator account. I have now been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I'm now fully demonetized. We all know exactly who is behind this and why. How? Who? Who, Candace? Who? Huh? Who? How? How? Who? How do we know who did this and who's behind it? Right? So 3 videos get struck. Here's the thing, right? Sometimes when certain videos, you'll never know what videos YouTube might all of a sudden find not worthy, right? On one hand, YouTube, can say this video is fine. And then a week later, they can say, hey, you know what? Now we're going to copyright block it, right? They might not strike you, but they might end up blocking it, right? That's what YouTube does. That's why, for me, the way I protect myself, the moment I get a copyright, whatever, I'm taking the video down. I'm actually deleting the video, right? Because you'll never know if YouTube can say, okay, it's copyright, all right. But then a week later, they can say, we got to shut it down. We're taking it down. And I've actually had videos where I've had a false strike on, right? Y'all don't know that. I've had a strike on my channel once, right? On a random video that was like, it was nothing, anything, right? YouTube was like, yo, this was against terms and conditions or whatever it is, TOS. We got to we got to give you a strike. And I'm like, yo, YouTube, there's like 15 other channels with the same video and you're not striking them down. So why am I being targeted? And it turns out it was their automated machine, right? So then they took the strike out, and then the minute they released the strike, I deleted the video. I ain't playing with them. That's what it is. So the minute I see that red money symbol, the video's done. It's gone. I'm taking it down, right? It's gone. Like, you're not going to see it because this is how YouTube operates. They're relying more and more on robots, all right, bots and all these things. So before you know it, 3 videos are struck down and you had no idea. So you got to be careful. But she over here trying to blame it. We all know who did it. Come on, we all know who's responsible. Come on, it's irresponsible, Candace. All right, do your fucking research. It was all you. All right, so she screenshot the content that was taken down. And it was like, here it is. YouTube remove your content. YouTube remove your content. YouTube remove your content. And it says, due to violations, the YouTube partner program policies, including your ad-friendly guidelines and community guidelines, the Candace Owens channel has been suspended from YouTube partner program. She got the fresh and fit treatment just now. She just got the fresh and fit treatment, right? So then she continues, what happened? Oh, there it is. All right, then it continues. Examples of this includes the community guideline violations outlined above, along with our ad-friendly guidelines, which state that content that incite hatreds and promotes discrimination, disparages, or humiliates an individual or a group of people, it's not suitable for advertising, right? And again, Myron would do this clowning black folks. Myron would do this clowning all these different races, and then when he gets departnered, all of a sudden they're crying. Why? I thought this was free speech. What? I thought this was America. What? Right? That's what they'll do, right? That's how they think, and it's like, bro, you don't realize you're disparaging a whole group of people. So it don't matter if you're saying the N-word with a hard R, right? You're still disparaging people. Right. So again, it don't matter what, even if you're saying to all these other racial groups out there, YouTube is still going to consider it disparaging. Right. So again, you guys are the architects of your own destruction, but they can't see it. So it goes on to say the channel can be reevaluated for the YouTube partner program after 90 days when you see the option to reapply on your monetization page. A channel that reapplies to be part of the YouTube partner program will be readmitted only after it has addressed the issues that triggered the suspension. And honestly, Chad, we're going to be real here. It's probably not going to happen for after 90 days. We're going to be honest. It's probably not going to happen for after 90 days. Because, I mean, look at Fresh and Fit. Look at Pearl. Pearl waited to get that repartnerization. It didn't come for her. Fresh and Fit waited to get repartnered. It didn't happen. Candace Owens is going to be waiting to get repartnered. After 90 days, it ain't happening. So again, it is what it is. Now, can you say, I'm not totally oblivious to say that maybe this doesn't have some certain connection to election cycles right now, right? Because things get escalated during election cycles. I'm not a blind person to not count that as a possibility of that being at play here, right? Because again, she is on the other side, but you also have to understand that if you know that you're going to be a target based off of what political side that you're on, right? If you just know that, let's just be just hypothetical, just speaking for for you guys right now, right? If you know that, why not move smart? Why not move better? Why move in the most reckless manner out there that you're basically putting a target on your back, right? It's like draw a target logo, put a dot right in the middle. That's where the bullet's going, right? Why do it? Why not make it harder for them to try to find things on you? These guys make it so easy, and then when they point to obvious reasons why you're getting departnerized, you scream and cry. At least put up a fight, right? And by putting up a fight, I mean just be tactical in the way y'all move. Y'all alt-right people, the reason why some of y'all on the social media side, I'm not saying on the election side. Let me break that down. I'm not saying on the election side. I'm saying on the social media side and celebrity side. The reason why you motherfuckers are losing because if this shit right here, y'all don't have that focus, bro. Like y'all need it desperately, bro. So again, you need to have the focus to move with tact. Y'all not moving with tact, and that's why it's causing y'all a lot of fucking money. And Candace is gonna feel that, right? So not only Candace is feeling that, but obviously the Fresh and Fit platform are too, because they are in the same boat. So we're gonna go over the debate that was had. At least part of it, right? Because it was hilarious. And we're going to see what these guys' thought process was on this whole thing. And then, oh my God, and we're going to get into the absolute ridiculousness that is Fresh attempting to be a debater. All right? It's honestly hilarious, chat. Shout out to Kevin with the super chat. Kevin says, oh, hold up. Let me move this aside. Kevin says, your comedy skits are hilarious. You've been going after sus since the beginning. What made you create your channel? Was it the foolery? No. No, my skits, because I genuinely like doing, and I should do more on that channel. But I genuinely like just doing skits. Like I like, so I have a lot of creativity, but sometimes I don't express it as well, right? So that's why I draw a lot. I'm a good drawer. I can draw a lot of stuff, right? I love art. I love, like, expressing myself a certain way. So yeah, just seeing that, I'm like, oh, what are ways I can take this to a different level? And then it's just that. But I'm thinking about even doing it more on this platform now, right? So it's going to be crazy. I want to do it more, but it's just finding that time and balance. Because then I still don't know if I really want to do YouTube full time. I don't see the point. I mean, not saying I don't see the point of it. It's just like, I don't know if I want to do it full time. I'm kind of cooling right where I'm at right now. But then if I do it full time, then yeah, I'll obviously have more time to do more things and be more versatile. But yeah, I appreciate you checking it out, bro. But yeah, I'll be doing dumb shit. It's just me, bro. Shout out to I Don't Play Games with the 5 says, nah, Duke, she had that debate with that Jewish dude on Piers Morgan's show. Well, yeah, but I don't think it was just Rabbi Shmuley, right? Because she's been going after Rabbi Shmuley. It wasn't just that, right? It wasn't just that. I mean, that may be part of it. And I'm not denying or saying that, just because of election cycle, it didn't have an effect on why YouTube is doing what YouTube is doing. But we can't just sit here and pretend that Candace Owens wasn't culpable in that. I mean, honestly, bro, move the fucking Jewish and politics aside. She should have been taken down the moment she went after Andrew Tate's victim. The moment she went after Andrew Tate's victim and fucking vilified that young girl and defended a fucking trafficker, she should have been taken out. I don't know why these people, they're allowed to get graces, and then when they overextend and then get burnt, they turn around and get mad and say, whoa, how did this happen? They don't see the little incremental shit. That's like me coming out here and victim shaming somebody who got trafficked. Like, well, that's crazy. And people are just sitting there supporting that and clapping. Yeah. Obviously, that little girl's a liar, whatever the fuck it is. I mean, she's not a little girl. She's she was over 21 now. But at the time, she was trafficked by that young by that teacher of hers that Candace Owens was promoting out there, right? She was 15. So it's disgusting. She should have been taken off. She should have been put on a watch list then. But you see how YouTube gives these guys a bunch of graces until the hammer comes down, and then they want to cry about censorship. But it's like, yeah, sure, that does have a part to play. I'm not denying that. But we're gonna sit there and ignore the fact that you weren't doing some dumb shit. We're gonna sit there and ignore the fact you weren't saying some dumb shit, Candace. Again, these are the people that want to talk about accountability and pulling yourself up by the bootstrap and stop fiending and playing victim, right? And then here they are fiending and playing victim the moment they get the consequences of the shit they've been pulling. So that's why I can't stand these guys. It's just so annoying, bro. Like, it is what the fuck it is. But let's get into the live stream. Let me pull it up.
Elon having to testify when we're getting removed in Brazil. It's just like before the election, it's I'll tell you this, bro. Every place. Guess who's next? America. Ta-da. Nobody is safe, bro. This whole censored type ordeal is coming to America.
Well, we gotta fight against it.
You can't beat it, bro. All
this guy. First defeatist mindset once again.
Hold on. They spent years and generations coming to this point of control. You think they're gonna stop now? No. Same thing with feminism. They worked years to become women of power. They don't come back now, bro.
Okay, so why are you fighting against feminism but not against censorship?
No, I'm not fighting anything.
So what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm telling the truth, bro.
Right off the bat, before the debate even started, Fresh is already looking like a dummy, right? Because again, you can tell he's trying to make a point, but he's like, it's not all there. It's not all coming together, right? So all of a sudden, it's like, well, you know what's next, right? I mean, after Candace Owens, it's all of America, because they're gonna get all of America. It's like, okay, well, why? It's feminism, right? I mean, it's only a matter of time. It's like, bro, fucking, hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you this: cancel culture is dead. Most you see, this is why I'm saying y'all spend so much time on the internet. You don't realize the real world, they're done with cancel culture. They don't care anymore. Okay, cancel culture had its run for the past 7 years, and it did destructive damage to our system. It got everybody, hooked up on pronouns and all this other shit, right? But I'm gonna tell you this: the real world is done with that shit. We're moving past that now. Okay, so cancel culture is no longer a thing. So blaming feminism and all this stuff like that, we got to start looking at other things, because feminism, that whole wave, is dying. It's just like y'all pill poppers. It's dying. Okay, y'all are the same sides, or what do you call it? Different sides of the same coin. So if one side's dying, so is the other side. Y'all not making out of it. The natural conclusion is at hand. Okay, so it's no longer that. It's what happened to the men during that time, right? Because we spent the time, not delivering the right message when the wrong message was being provided, right? And instead of, focusing on what really mattered for our young men, we didn't do any of that. We kind of ignored it and just started pointing fingers at the other side. Instead of building our own house and our own foundation, we spent the time pointing the fingers at the other side, only to find out we were no different than them. That's all we found out in the end. And while we were distracted, pointing the finger with this gender war at the other side, guess what happened to our kids? They got stupider, they got weaker, they got feckless, they got a bunch of mental illness, they got a bunch of shit wrong with them. That's why we got these young boys going up in self-master-leading schools and things like that. It's crazy. Not master-leading schools, but you know what I mean, right? Going in and doing these school shootings and whatnot. You got depression through the roof, drug uses. We dropped the ball. When the adults were supposed to be vigilant, we weren't paying attention. And now everything is dying down, and we're starting to look at the realities of the fucking bullshit we have left over, and we're sitting there saying, well, who are we going to blame? Who's here to blame? No! We were there the whole time. We got to look in the mirror. Enough with this shit.
Nigga, I'm telling the truth.
Telling the truth about what? About how it's hopeless, or about
About how it's hopeless. Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's a fact. Read the Quran. Or read your Bible.
Right. Okay. The end times is a separate conversation. If it's hopeless,
It's all tied together.
Sure. If it's hopeless, then what's the point of being on a podcast?
That's the point.
Facts.
No, that's not.
Because one thing leads to another. If you know what's happening in real time, right? You should have a plan of action to proceed. Granted, though, the whole J-talk doesn't do much. The problem is America allowing it to happen. And then, if you want the truth, God is the truth. So that's the...
What? Hold up. Let me just move. Chat, we're not even 30 seconds into this. I shit you not. We're not even 30 seconds into it. Is Fresh making any sense to you?
But not against censorship.
No, I'm not fighting anything.
So what the fuck are you doing here?
I'm telling the truth, bro. Nigga, I'm telling the truth.
Telling the truth about what? About how it's hopeless, or about
About how it's hopeless. Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's a fact. Read the Quran. Or read your Bible.
Right. Okay.
Read the Quran or read the Bible about free speech going away? Huh?
The end times is a separate conversation. If it's hopeless,
It's all tied together.
Sure. If it's hopeless, then what's the point of being on a podcast?
That's the point.
No, that's not.
Because one thing leads to another. If you know what's happening in real time, right? You should have a plan of action to proceed. Granted, though, the whole J-talk doesn't do much. The problem is America allowing it to happen. And then, if you want the truth, God is the truth. So...
No, this nigga is stupid, bro. Oh, Junikin, man, this motherfucker is stupid. You see what I mean? It's like it sounds so good in his head, but it's like, bro, what are you saying, right? If you want the truth, well, it's God, bro. It's God. It's like, what are you saying, bro? So what do you? If I can speak stupid, if I can try to translate here, chat, I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I'm not. Believe me, I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb. So I'm gonna do my best. Okay. So if I can gather, he's insinuating that essentially the feminism and the cancel culture now, coming for Candace Owens and coming for everybody else, it's going to come for America next. Okay. And he's drawing parallels to the biblical timeline of the end of days, whether it's in the Quran or it's in the Bible. And I say biblical, but like it's all Abrahamic faith. Okay. It's similar shit, but way different, especially on the Quran side. Right. But again, he's drawing parallels to that religion outline, right? So he's basically saying, hey, listen, the world is ending. All of this shit is predicted. Why? Because it's in the Bible or in the Quran, right? And then Sneako chimes in and says, well, you're talking about the end times. That's completely different, a different conversation. Fresh is like, huh? No, not really. But, and then Fresh chimes in, well, listen, if you really want the truth, because it's all connected, it's God, bro. Sure. Let's just say that, right? Let's just say it is God and God is the truth. I'm not even arguing with you on that. I'm not going to argue with you on that. God is the truth, right? Let's just put a pin in that, right? Okay, if God is the truth, fine. You would then admit that you at least have some level of responsibility on earth, right? So why is it that you're just going to sit there and say it's all doomed, it's all done, there's nothing else we could do, and you have responsibility while you're on earth, right? It's like that. It reminds me of that one story, when I used to go to church, my priest used to say, right? He was saying that this guy was drowning and he was praying to God. He said, God, help me, I'm drowning, right? And he was praying. And then one boat comes by, and then the boat was saying, hey, bro, you need help, dog? Like, we got extra room, bro. Just hop on. And the dude's like, nah, fuck all that. I'm waiting for God to come save me. All right? He coming. He coming to save me. He's gonna physically come down and save me, right? So then the boat goes away, and then he keeps praying, right? Oh, please, I'm drowning. God, I need, help me, right? And another boat comes by, right? He's like, hey, bro, you're not looking good over there. You need help? We got extra room. We got warm beds. We got blankets. We can warm you up. Nah, fam, I'm good. I'm waiting for God. All right, so he's praying, and a third boat come by, and it's like, hey, dog, hey, what's up? You don't look so hot. Hey, hop on. Let's go. No, it's cool. God's coming, right? And then the guy dies, right? So he goes to heaven, and he reaches St. Peter at the pearly gates, and he says, God, why didn't God save me? Or what happened, right? So then he meets God, and then God said, bro, I sent you 3 boats. You didn't take any of those signs. I don't know, like that, bro. That's what it reminds me of. It's like we're seeing the world burn around us, right? And we have the tools to fix it, but it's like we're sitting here waiting on like some kind of miracle or divine intervention. Like, bruh, we got the tools right in front of us. We have the ability to intervene. So let's intervene because the tools are already there instead of waiting for some sign. Fresh, this was a moronic answer. I'm not gonna hold you, bruh.
That's the answer. Not, oh yeah, these people is no. God's the truth. Go to him. This world's a test. All this other shit, politics, other shit, isn't that important. It is important to some level, but not the main take. The main take is God first, then the nation, then other problems. Would you agree or would you disagree?
Well, you kind of avoid my question. If you're saying that it's pointless speaking about censorship and speaking about feminism, then why are we on this podcast?
No, I'm saying to fight it by yourself is dumb.
Why not? There's 3 of us at this table.
You're missing the
There's
point.
people watching the stream.
You, me, and Myron are not going to overturn generations of actual agenda that have been planned for years before we even thought about or conceived. That's been done, and it's going to be carried to the end of time. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. If you don't believe the Bible, then that's on you. I believe, though, what we can do is say, you know what? Here's the facts. Go to God, though, for the real answer, which is...
Go to God, but have babies out of wedlock. Go to God, but have unprotected sex with random women. Go to God, but have lustful, sinful tendencies, but go to God. See, it's fake Christians like this that kind of makes me angry at Christians, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's fake Christians like this that you look at their lifestyle and you're saying, that ain't like the good example in the good word, bro. You're not living like that. And you look at them. But them the same niggas that come to lecture you, hey, brother, you're not living right, brother. Come on, come to Christ, brother. Come to Christ. You're not living right, brother. Who the fuck are you? You don't realize people are watching you. That's the whole point of being a Christian, right? Being a Christian is supposed to be a good example. If I'm trying to join a religion right now, and I'm looking at this nigga talking about, it's in the Bible, bro. It's God, bro. It's God, bro. And I'm seeing how you living. How the fuck is that going to motivate me to think that your religion is the right one? This is these fake Christians, bro. It annoys the fuck out of me when they do this crap, bro. If you don't tell, I got a vendetta against shit like that, bro. It pisses me off.
He is the one that can save us. All this talk about politics, choosing Trump or Kamala doesn't mean shit. Because they're the same people with different points. So different. Well, they're not the same people. They're different, but like they're just figureheads. Is the whole point here.
Okay, so are you fighting or are you not fighting?
What I'm doing is participating in free speech to a certain extent. Also, what I'm doing as well is behind the scenes, other things that I won't say.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay.
And that's
So
exactly why I won't say what I'm doing.
But we're on a podcast where the whole point is to say things.
Oh, I did.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
Fresh, you said nothing. I'm actually, listen, like, I kind of see where Fresh is coming from, but you're drawing too many parallels. You're saying, oh, it's all in the Bible, that's why society's fallen. But okay, fine, you can make that comparison, but you can't act like there aren't very real issues that is causing the problems in society right now that can easily be addressed, right? I mean, I'm not saying easily, simply be addressed, right? Okay. There a lot of this stuff is within our control, but the thing is, a lot of people don't want to do it, or they're distracted by, I don't know, women, money, whatever their God is, right? So again, I get what you're saying, but you're not, this whole context wasn't even making any sense. You're saying, oh, well, listen, feminism and the end of times, and it's all in the Bible or in the Quran. And that's my point. What is Sneako supposed to do with that? Matter of fact, if I was debating you, honestly, what would I do with that argument? I don't know what I would do with that argument, bro. I'm like, well, bro, what are you talking about? I don't know.
What you guys argue is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Rumble no longer available in Brazil. Rumble, the leading free speech platform, is now blocked in Brazil, making a troubling development in the fight for freedom of information. CEO Chris Pavlovski warned of rising global restrictions, noting that Brazil joins France, Russia, and China in blocking access to the platform. The ban allows actions by De Morris, who has been criticized for attacking freedom of expression. Pavlovski condemned the move, stating world powers don't want Rumble, X, Telegram, or True Social. They want to control information, but our companies won't let them source the gateway pundit. Yeah, I mean, there's been issues with Rumble and Brazil for a very long time. As we've kind of known about this. But, that just tells you guys, if you're able to operate in these countries that have such severe restriction, what are they doing to be able to operate there? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
So, let me say this.
Well, I don't know if Twitch is in Brazil, but I'm assuming.
Here's some truth here for you, Sneako. All these companies that push content and they push narratives are controlled on some level. Rumble, X, are more of a free platform to say what you want. With a caveat. This is also being monitored.
Okay, so it's not free. Rumble is a private platform, just like YouTube, just like all these other platforms. They're private. They're not free. By definition, they're not free platforms.
Whether you do on X, Rumble, Kick, this is all being monitored. Now, granted, though, you're not as punished as you would be on YouTube or Twitch. However, here's the kicker. When you make content, you're put into a box. And there's a score for your social likeness that you're not aware of. And companies, CEOs, and creators above that level understand this. This is why they don't say certain things, because they're going to be out of the loop on sponsors, funding, even promotional aspects that I won't say on camera. And I'm in these rooms with these people, talking to them, doing things for us, behind the scenes, but I don't want to say on camera. This is why my fight is better than your fight.
What? What are you saying, Fresh? Okay, so you're admitting that the people you work with, they're also colluding with you. So okay. That makes you, I mean, part of the cabal, technically speaking, right? I don't listen, I don't have access to Rumble CEO like y'all niggas do. So that makes it already sketch. Okay, so y'all are part of the agenda. So like, look at Sneako just smiling at this dude. Like, bro, this dude is so stupid. Like he had 2 brain cells left and couldn't rub it together to produce a thought. Like, just think about that. This is insane.
It's still the fight, though.
You talk like you're a CIA agent who's like having Illuminati meetings with Putin and Kim Jong-un. Just because you speak to the CEOs of like social media companies does not mean that you're behind the scenes crafting for the future of America.
Your solution isn't better than mine.
What do you think my solution is?
Tell me. Tell the audience.
You said that there's no point in speaking about this because it's already decided and it's
No,
hopeless.
I said the better point is speaking about God, not about this.
When do you speak about God?
No, I'm telling you because I understand more and more every single day that I need to do this more. But I'm telling you what it is.
Okay, so if you think that this is pointless to speak about and that God is the most important thing because the end times are prophesized, why are you not just speaking about God constantly?
You know why?
No, I'm asking you why. I don't know.
Well, this is why, Sneako. Because what I'm doing right now with our platform, with even helping you, because you know who I was talking to on your behalf, is because I think right now people are getting to know the truth about how the world works. And when you know that component, guess what's the next step? Why is this happening?
Shut up. That's not even a question. Like, why aren't you talking about God right now? It ain't too late, nigga. You can die right now. All right. So, what's stopping you? All right. And so you're saying, oh, it's because I have to continue to fight, right? And the more and more we're continuing to fight, I'm gonna keep waking people up. And then after I've woken enough people up, then I'm gonna turn to God. That's not the answer. If anything, if you really were about what you were preaching and you were about the revelations, okay, you know it's going to be at the end of times, you would be preaching about God nonstop. But you're not. You're just out here talking to women and living an unholy lifestyle, my dude. So again, what is this? What are you trying to say, bro? Like, again, chat. I shit you not. We're like 5 minutes in to the debate between him and Sneako. Okay, since Sneako popped on, we're 5 minutes in. It's already not looking good. Okay, I'm getting secondhand embarrassment from Fresh alone.
How can we solve it? What's the actual solution? Not a man-made solution. Only God is. However, they're gonna push on this Antichrist and what do you call it in Quran?
Same thing.
No, but there's a term for it.
The Antichrist is called a Mashiach.
There you go. So I just think we're preparing the stages for this to happen. And yes, I'm not the best Christian. I know that 100%. So for me to talk about it in detail would be wrong of me because I'm not the right messenger at this point. But when I'm at that point, I will elaborate.
What kind of answer was that? What is this? What am I listening to?
Yeah, I can tell that you're getting to the bigger conversation. I mean, that's what this is really all about. If you look at the control mechanisms and what they're trying to promote, a lot of it goes back to trying to get the end times to become closer so that the Antichrist can come. Right?
If you look at
if you really want to, like,
if you look at their agenda,
everyone preaches about the end times, but you know what happens? Life goes on. It always goes on, with or without you. There's no end times, bro. The only end times is gonna come is not for like trillions of years from now, okay? Until like the galaxy and every light in it has completely been quenched and the last fucking black hole has dissipated amongst the fucking vastness of space. That's it. That's it. Darkness, nigga. From darkness you came from, and darkness you shall return. I'm sorry. It's a tough truth for a lot of people to swallow. It is what it is. That's why I don't fucking buy into this shit. It is what it is, bro. I'm sorry. Fresh, the end times, for right now, with our mortal flesh and how feckless we are to only live to age 100, at least for some of us anyway, we're never going to see that end times. It's never going to happen for us. It's never going to be witnessed for us. And when you go, it's like trying to remember what life was like before you were born. Can you do it? Nobody can. That's death. Okay? It is what the fuck it is. This is why I try not to have conversations like these because I'll be blowing people's minds, bro.
All of this pointing towards end times. It's not because they want to, because they know it's been written and their plan is actually putting in effect the end times.
Okay. So it's also worthwhile to speak about because this stuff does affect us and all the viewers watching, like Rumble getting shut down in Brazil.
No. I just said the most important one is God. This is still important, but not as important, if that makes sense.
So is your whole point, the whole yap is saying that God is the most important?
Yeah, this is actual facts.
So God's the most important?
100%.
Okay, you could have said that in like 3
I told you that.
Yeah, no, you could have said God's
Bro,
important.
let's take it, bro. Anyhow.
You could have just skipped that whole thing and just said God's the most
No,
important.
this is very important for them to hear.
Okay.
I've never said it before. I'm saying it now.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Sneako.
What? It's like giving your slightly not so smart friend a pat on the head. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Fresh. You finally got it. Thank you. Yo, Fresh, he's insulting you. He's insulting you. He didn't actually really mean it. And his Fresh is like, oh, okay, I did good. Fresh did good. Fresh did good. Fresh did good. Yeah, Fresh did good. Like, bro, like that is so condescending the way Sneako said that. I'm proud of you, bro. No, you didn't, bro. Again, if Fresh had IQ above room temperature, he'd realize, bro, you're not making sense. First of all, this whole biblical conversation shouldn't even be in what you're talking about right now. This whole issue with feminism and censorship has nothing to do with the Bible. It's private corporations protecting their fucking bottom lines against rowdy niggas like y'all, right? They need to keep their advertisers. Can we address that problem first? How advertisers have so much power? Let's address that first before we go into these other fucking biblical conspiracies. That's such a massive jump, but this nigga still thinks he got something. He actually thinks he's saying something. What did you say?
All right. Let's go to the next story. Well, because we covered Twitch, and Twitter and Rumble, getting suppressed, which I'm not surprised. And it's all going down in an election year. And actually, if you guys have been on X, Elon has been hardcore supporting Trump because Trump is more pro free speech, which I think that alone, you know, if you're voting, should make you vote for Trump. But
how much do you believe that about Trump being pro free speech, and if he's really going to be about that? Because like, we were speaking about this on my stream yesterday. One of the major misinformation policies that got me banned on YouTube and a lot of other people censored was the fact that can you say this on Twitch about the election in 2020?
We'll just say the election, yeah.
Yeah, the election in 2020, whether or not it was rigged.
Yeah.
Right? I said it was, and when you weren't allowed to say that, now you can. But then Trump was on the Lex Friedman podcast last week, and he said that I lost by a little hair, so he admitted that he lost after telling all of his followers they rigged it against him. So all the people that got censored and banned for supporting him, now they were vindicated by the left. The left was right the whole time that it wasn't rigged, based off of Trump's statement.
Wait.
Like, again, even Trump came out and admitted that, right? So this is what I'm saying. Before all these people on January 6th and whatnot, y'all doing what you're doing, stop listening to fucking idiots who are emotional, okay? It is what the fuck it is. And a lot of people, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Listen, even though they're gonna, some of them, I don't know why they're doing it, but they're gonna support Trump, but they still feel like they got betrayed. But the reason why they're supporting Trump is not because they actually like Trump, right? Actually, a lot of people dislike him now because after his last term in office, it's not looking like personally they don't like him, right? But for a lot of them, they see Trump as a better option than Kamala, right? So that's how they see it. It is what the fuck it is. But I can tell you right now, Trump is not, you know, at least he wasn't seen now as what he was seen as in 2016 when he was running. So it's a completely different thing now. So it's more like, it's kind of what's going on right now. He lied. It is what it is. So again, a lot of people got vindicated for it, and even now you got Sneako. I'm surprised Sneako brought this up. I'm actually surprised Sneako brought this up because he's on the pill popping side too. He's supposed to be caping, and Sneako didn't. Sneako kept it real. So again, it's just like, you know, again, y'all gotta just be careful.
He lost by a little here because the context was he lost, but not because he lost by actual merit. You know what I'm saying? So he lost, but doesn't mean it was actually correct. It was still Rick.
Yeah, that doesn't count as losing, though. He never used that phrasing until just now.
No, he lost on paper, but he didn't lose the right way, though.
No, but he said by just a hair, as if the votes were counted.
He's saying
correctly.
that he didn't make that distinction that you're making now.
No, that's the first time he said that.
In context.
Yeah, that's why we need context. Ain't y'all the same people crying for context? Hey, these reaction channels, they put us out of context. Yeah, that could have been a very good context to put in there, right? Hey, I still lost, but like, come on. It's like just like by a tiny bit, though. Okay, that's different from saying, hey, they rigged the election against me. I should have won that. That's two completely different things.
It wasn't meant like it was actually correct. It was like an illegitimate election where he lost.
He's been saying they stole the election for years.
Yeah.
And now he's saying, I lost by a hair. Very different rhetoric.
Yeah, but you're saying that it wasn't right at all.
No, that's what?
No, I'm saying it was.
Yo, Fresh, that's not what he said.
In 2020.
Right. So his statement that he said he lost by a hair doesn't take away the fact that it was illegitimate.
That's the first time he said he's saying that it was counted properly. If he was saying that it was rigged, then he should not say the word lost.
Okay.
He should just say that it was stolen.
Okay.
And he's been saying that, he's been tweeting that, so he stole the election nonstop. That's been the framing of the conversation. Now he's dialing it back because he's trying to appeal to moderates, he's trying to appeal to liberals. That's why he has Amber Rose with a face tat. That's why he has Lil Pump and Bad Baby.
That was a bad move. Y'all, like, again, this is what I'm like, yo, these conservatives, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna have Amber Rose Amber Rose of all people, who is the exact like the opposite of what you would call someone even remotely conservative, or someone who obviously would not care for Republicans whatsoever. She's definitely getting paid to be there. Little Pump all of a sudden is like a staunch Republican now. Really? What are we doing with these options? Amber Rose and Little Pump haven't been relevant for years. Okay, so now the right thing's better time than any. We got these celebrities on discount. Shit, we got a budget Amber Rose. Let's go, yo. Like it's wild. It's wild. Like, what are we doing? I don't know if it's gonna have an effect on the polls, but I just think it's the wrong move. It's the wrong message, right? Little Pump, what? Bad Baby or whatever her name was, right? Why these people? Like, why?
Working in the car and stuff, because he's trying to appeal to the people that he didn't get before. All the people that thought that Trump was racist, he wants their votes. But the campaign strategy is not working properly. He should just be appealing to his core. He should be trying to radicalize the people that already liked him in 2016 and motivate them to go out and vote again. Trying to convert like Puerto Ricans and Cubans and people that like Lil Pump is not the correct campaign strategy. Trying to get the people that were like, well, I thought that the election was stolen, but now it was lost, so now you changed my mind. Trying to water it down to get like the middle America is not the right strategy at all. And he might lose because of that.
Do you think if he went down your path, he would get majority vote?
He did in 2016, and he demolished Hillary. That was his best campaign.
This was before the smear campaigns on Trump, about the indictments, about him being a felon, about him being a woman.
Americans look past that. They will look past that. They don't care about that. The problem is Trump. Sneako actually has a point. Trump's strategy, when you try to get everybody to like you, at the end, it's going to be hard because you're going to alienate some people, right? So he's kind of right. You stick with your base, because the people who are going hard right now, they're people who already love Trump. But if you're trying to, you start implementing liberal strategies, you're trying to start doing what they're doing and getting these celebrities that wouldn't otherwise shouldn't be there, right? It's like, okay, if you're just you're basically trying to be like a Dollar Tree fucking Democrat. Like, what are we doing here? And Trump at one point was a Democrat, so we just got to put it out there. So it's like, stop, okay? Just focus on your base. Your base loves you, and America, they're just probably gonna just fall in line. Some of them, right? So it is what it is, but. You just trying to, try to get everybody, and then trying to what do you call it? Schmoozing up to these different demographics. It's what sleazy politicians do. We criticize politicians for being wishy-washy, right? Like when Kamala, she's talking regular to one audience, and then when she goes to a black audience, all of a sudden the twang comes out. Yeah, oh my God, oh, hallelujah. All of a sudden, the Ebonics is on display 100%. It's like, Kamala, stop. You're embarrassing me. Stop it, Kamala. What is it? We just saw you on camera yesterday talking to a group of in a completely different demographic, in a completely different way. Why you speak to us in Ebonics, bro? Like, just, you don't think they're, like, I mean... Yo, like, even shit like that, it pisses me off. Because, like, and some people, they'll just sit there and cheer for her. Like, oh, yeah. It's like, bro, like, you're not following her campaign. Like, why is she talking so different? Like, y'all not, why is she so, like, it's just certain things you just sticks out to you. It's like, it reminds me of the Hillary Clinton hot sauce moment, where it's like, really? You expect us to believe you carry hot sauce in your purse? Like, on a regular? Like some crazy person? Not even normal black people do that. Like, what? Hey, I'm sorry. What kind of normal black person do you know walk around with hot sauce? Like, what are we doing? Like, again, it's just one of those things. We got to stop. We got to stop with the pandering. When people see you doing this pandering nonsense, it starts to remind them of a sleazy fucking scumbag that wants votes instead of caring about what America really wants. It is what it is, bro.
Hater about him being misogynist.
No, the whole time in 2016 they were calling him a woman hater. That grab by the pussy was a huge.
No, you're right. That was a campaign attack, but it wasn't like a major effect.
It was really major. And also then they brought him on stage during the debates. They said, "You said Rosie O'Donnell. You said calling women fat." He goes, "Only Rosie O'Donnell."
Well, he played into it.
Exactly. Now he's trying to water it down. Play into it.
If he played into it again,
yes, do it again.
Is it gonna work?
Yes, do it again.
You think so?
They already tried to shoot him.
So all the abortionist people that are saying, "Yo, we must do abortions," you think they're gonna go for like
abortion is not what you're not gonna win based off of abortion. You should just let that go. He's trying to water it down now, saying abortion's cool, weed's good. I think it's something like 2 times the amount of black women are now voting that didn't vote before in 2020. He's bringing, like, Kamala's bringing out voters.
Who they voted for?
Kamala.
That's
what I'm saying. So don't try to, like, say, Trump's like, I like abortion too.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong there. A lot of people aren't realizing it. Kamala is like, and I don't know, we don't know until the polls will tell, but like Kamala is like, she's again, there's a lot of energy around there, right? And that's something like, even though I think she's not, I'm like, it is what it is, right? There's a lot of energy around her. Okay, so like Trump, I don't think, especially because a lot of the energy around a bunch of people who are voting for Trump, they're thinking, oh, it's Kamala. You know, we all know she's kind of weird and sleazy, so we got this in the bag. No, you don't. This election might be closer than you think. So it's actually the oldest on Trump to not mess around here, because when we talk about energy, it's kind of going that way. I'm not even like, if it's me just sitting back, I don't care about political sides. I'm just watching. I'm saying that got more energy. We gotta manage our strategies a little better here. We can't do what they're doing. We got to stick to what works. All right. AKA what happened that got Trump the victory over Hillary. This should be a smooth 2.0, but for some reason, it's not looking like that. So again, people just got to think a little bit.
Well, please vote for me. No, they're already voting for Kamala. Try to get the people that like you for you.
I get that part. And I would agree with you. However, what Trump has been through, bro, what he's actually gone through in media is a shitstorm. And once you've been through that, you're not the same person anymore. Look at Andrew Tate. He can't be the same person anymore. You can't be.
No, actually, I would argue that Andrew Tate has become more radical after the whole media campaign. The whole reason that he got the appeal in 2016 was like...
Did this nigga just compare Trump to Andrew Tate for a debate? You just compare Trump to Andrew... Andrew Tate is a convicted I'm sorry, I spoke too soon. He's about to be a convicted trafficker. A lot of the shit he did, he brought on himself. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. Andrew Tate has not been the same person. The nigga been to prison. He's been even worse. Okay, we don't know what happened to him, but now the shit that he's about, the shitstorm that is cooking up around this man and his brother, it's not even looking good. Okay, they just rearrested the guy again, re-rated his ass, and he's under lock and key in house arrest. He's more radicalized than ever. Comparing him to Trump is not a good debate strategy, my boy.
Hillary's corrupt. She's controlled by the banks, the fake news. They lie. CNN. He's like flipping off the news. I went to Trump rallies in 2015, 2016. All the news would stand on the back and it'd be like, fuck the media. And then all the Trump supporters throughout, fuck you, and flip them off. And there was energy. Now he's trying to appease them and say Fox News is good. Before, is all the media lies. So I don't think watering it down is the way to go.
Do you think Trump knows a lot more about running now than he did
before?
No,
I think he failed in 2020. Based off of his own admission. I think he failed. I think he's listening to people like J.D. Vance. I think he's listening to bad people around him. I don't think he knows the right strategy.
Trump is a smart businessman.
Of course. So politics is not strictly business.
I agree. So he doesn't have any type of like real knowledge of campaigning.
Well,
right?
he's getting older. He's a shell of his former self.
If you didn't have the real campaigning advice, or I want to say advantage, what would you do? Go to someone that has that, right? Who has a back end that can push you further than you can do yourself.
He's admitted himself that he did not bring the right people around him in the last election. He said himself on the past couple podcasts, I think on Theo Vaughn, he said, I made a mistake. He said, I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. You know, it's notorious that he's not had the right people around him. So
I'm just saying, I can see both sides of the coin, and him trying to appease or appeal to a different demographic, I think is warranted, because guaranteed, if he left how it was before, and he's radical on those ends only, Kamala would destroy him, because guess what? She's bringing up voters that weren't there before.
Exactly. She's already going to destroy him on the liberals, the abortion, the weed people.
But people are going to see the debate. They're going to see her policies. So we'll see. You know what? Damn, you know what? Maybe I'm just saying, give him a chance to finish this race and see what happens.
He has to go hard.
Bro, why would Trump need to court people who are like pro-abortion? Like, I don't think that's a good idea. Why would he want to do it? Wait a minute. Fresh, what argument? Do you even know what argument you're supposed to be making right now? Why would Trump want to do that? That's such a bad strategy for the Republicans. No, just stick with the base that matter to you. Like, stop trying to do this weird wishy-washy politician shit.
I actually don't think that he did that well in the debate against Biden. He did well optically because he just didn't stutter and seem like he had dementia. Biden just lost. Trump didn't really win that debate. Biden lost. He made a couple mistakes. He called Biden a Palestinian. He wasn't strong in immigration. He wasn't enthusiastic. He didn't have his one-liners. He didn't have his charm to him. He was just there, right? Trump used to have a sort of aura to him, like this is the outsider. He didn't have that in the Biden debate. Against Kamala, he's going to have to go dirty again. He's going to have to do the same stuff he said against Hillary. He's going to have to make jokes. He's going to have to win the crowd over. He has to make Kamala look like an industry plant.
Here's the problem with Kamala. She has no blemishes.
Yeah, but because she hasn't done these
Yes, she does. She has a bunch of blemishes.
Yeah, she's been in a threesome relationship with a guy that look like you.
No. But
Right?
here's the issue, right?
Yeah.
Look at America today. Hawk Tua's famous. You got
That's
Megan
crazy,
Stallion and Cardi B, all these women being celebrities that influence women of today.
Haktua, by the way.
Do you think that they care about those issues of Kamala? They don't give a fuck. What they care about is their rights to be women of power and independent. So what does that say about Trump? If he tired
No, they don't. They care about money. That's all they care about, right? Matter of fact, didn't Kai Cenat made a video talking about how a lot of these people were trying to reach out to him to go ahead and bring a bunch of Gen Zs onto the platform. That's what it's part of your political campaign. It's just a giant marketing campaign all the way up until November to see who's more popular. Yeah, because that's how America runs its politics. Whoever's the more popular, kid on the block. Hey, we're gonna vote for that guy. I don't think it's quite stable system, but I guess it's a system that works so far, right? But that's it. So they pay out whoever they need to pay out to go ahead and get that marketing. You think Hot Tour cares? No, she obviously doesn't fucking care, bro. But you know what she cares about? Is the money. Yeah, the money, Lebowski. That's all it's been about. And it's like that for everybody else. Both sides. They all do the same shit. Okay, so Fresh, what exactly what point are you trying to make here? Like, what is the point?
on that level, guess what's gonna happen? Loses all those votes. He has to be smart and cunning, and also understand how the game is being played here. Listen, I think what you're saying is correct. He should have radicalized them in a way to vote for him still, his main base. But with the current system how it's set up right now, bro, he can't afford to do that because Kamala's people, bro, are coming in droves.
Have you noticed their campaign strategy is don't let Kamala say anything. She just says, she gets on stage and she just speaks with a fake black accent. Oh, I'm going to say it like it is.
But do you know
and
why?
That's it, because they don't want to let her speak herself into failure. This is why this debate is going to be really crucial.
Because Trump's actual campaign and image is smeared. So all they do is keep her quiet for as long as possible, win the election, and that's it.
And then let her down. So yeah, this debate can be really crucial. Yeah, I think this is a pivotal moment.
But you know what's crazy?
What?
Even after this debate, I don't think that'll be enough. Because Kamala's influence of her being black, her being a woman, her being with no blemish, that's really like warranted, gets people out. So you know what? She's clean. First woman president. Let's go for it.
Mm-hmm. No, but you're also overestimating what.
Yo, chat, the debate's live right now. Y'all want to watch it? Yo, the debate's live right now. Y'all want to watch it right now? Like, just put it in the chat if y'all want to watch it.
The liberals are and the people that are going to vote for a black woman or a black woman. Those people are going to be in New York and California. You got to remember about the Electoral College, and this is why Trump won. And I think he lost the popular vote against Hillary, if I'm not mistaken.
But don't forget, the companies that run the media, what are they? Liberal. And it's funny about this is because those people that run those companies, as Mark Zuckerberg exposed, they push an agenda on the audience.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're not doing that right now? They're doing it right now. What reason I fold? Other creators are conservative, censored because they know that influence and the power. So I'm just saying, it's not gonna be easy for Trump. So his method right now, I think, is a test to see what's gonna happen, and I'll give him a little bit of a leash to say, you know what, go down that mile. I'll see where it ends up. Because
all right, let's put Fresh's theory to the test here. All right, let's go into this debate.
2 years, every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what.
Doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government and Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? They were just talking about this too. So let's actually see if they're right. What is the strategy here?
Our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban.
It's a lie.
Because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states. And the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came
Well,
to
I
your
won't
desk?
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea, and how unfair that would have been. Part of the reason they lost to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free, but they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D. And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me. But I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that for years, they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand,
again, it's more the emotional attack, and I get where she's coming from, but it's like for voters like me, I'm not okay. Yeah, the emotional part, it does, fine, I get that, but that's we need more than that, right? So I don't know, bro. Like, she didn't really answer the question either. I also support Roe v. Wade, but that you didn't give a direct yes or no. Like, what's up?
and what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, and that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to respond. Another lie. It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
Hey, Kamala, that's the same emotional argument you were just putting on him, because that is a tough choice. Like an 8-month-old baby, that's damn near close to term, all right? So that is a hell of a lot of emotional ties there, bro. So just like Kamala was just using the emotional aspect of this woman who's pregnant by herself on a plane, alone with strangers, traveling to a whole nother state to get an abortion, he can use that same emotional argument too. So Kamala, don't easily dismiss that, but it is what it is.
Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question. Would you veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said, we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security.
Listen, ultimately, with that, let's just give people the right to do what they want to do with their bodies, bro. It is what it is. Like, the only caveat I put on that is when it comes to underage minors, right? No. They absolutely need parents' permission or supervision when they're making choices for their bodies and things like that. But when we're talking about grown adults, why can't we just give them the freedom to do what the fuck they want? If she wants to have sex, get pregnant, and go get an abortion, I don't see what the fucking problem is. What is this, right? And again, I don't know if they're being honest. Maybe it's the fact that they don't want to be honest to Americans and say, hey, the birth rates are dangerously low. We can't reach replacement levels in the next 20 years. What's going on? I don't know if that's a ploy. I don't know. But at the end of the day, bro, just let people do what they want with their bodies. I don't know. It just seems like a ridiculous argument we're just going back and forth with.
It's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped.
New York and Chicago are suffering, chat. Okay, so everybody left or right, the one thing we can agree on, that is a major problem right now.
Significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know
we're talking about fucking New York. All right, the black American citizens are getting squeezed out right now out of benefits that should have otherwise been for them. We're not talking about drugs right now. Drugs are a problem. We're talking about the immigration crisis that's squeezing the fucking economy. None of them answer questions properly. I can't stand politicians, bro.
How many families watching tonight who have been personally
Like, we're
affected
talking about
by
fentanyl.
the surge of fentanyl in our country? That
This
bill
supposed to be immigration. We talking about fentanyl. Well, what kind of answer is this, Kamala?
more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised.
What?
And I'm going to actually do some.
That was the question. That is literally the topic of the question. Oh no! I mean, he's gonna talk a lot about immigration, even though that's not the topic being raised. Kamala, can you remember the question they first asked you? What the New York and Chicago? Like, it's a big problem right now. Oh no, that's not a question. I mean, he's gonna talk a lot about it, but it's not a question. Fentanyl. Yeah, it's a problem. We gotta. Trump killed it. Stop. This is a pain. I honestly, Chad, I'd much rather go watch Fresh and Fit. I think Fresh is she's making Fresh's answer sound fresh, smart right now. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I can't do this, bro. I'm sorry. I can't honestly, in good faith, do this. I'm sorry, Chad. This is ridiculous.
Something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you
Kamala, we're not at a Trump rally. We're at a debate. I need you to expose him, please. We don't need to wait till a rally because they're not going to go to a rally. Expose him right now. What are we talking about?
also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first. And I pledge.
America isn't stupid. We're not falling for this pandering shit anymore. That was so 2008. All right. Obama did it well. He's calling. He wants his style back. We don't want this anymore. Like, Americans now, when they see bullshit, this is why Trump's rhetoric wins, is because he sounds like a regular person. Stop with this fake fucking altruistic bullshit, bro. Let's hit the nail on the head. This is why, like, bro, these sleazy fucking assholes, bro. I can't stand them.
To you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different.
Look at that smile. She said, "Oh, really? I'm bussing people in. Oh, really? Oh my goodness, bro! Look at that. I have never seen her this animated. Huh? Oh, really? I'm bussing them in. Hey, don't come on."
Different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again.
Listen, I like that. Great, sure. but I don't know why you would waste your answer on the size of your rallies and who's in attendance. Trump, this was a completely ego answer. It was a right answer, but it was a ego answer. I wouldn't even attack the fact that she went in about no one attending your rallies. I would have just went straight to the immigration point. Go into how New York is suffering. Go into how Illinois is suffering. Go into how this has caused a huge financial burden on our system. And not only that, if you want to get the black folks, talk about how it's disenfranchising black folks in New York and Chicago where they were born in. Right? They're prioritizing immigrants over citizens. We need to have policies. But instead, you go into an argument about, people go to my rallies. Yeah, people don't go to hers. This is what frustrates me about this shit, bro. It's like he's giving an answer, but on the wrong topic.
She's destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
Oh, God, bro.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city
This
manager
nigga
there.
did
He
not
told us
say that.
there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well,
All
I've
this,
seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say
clear-
my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for
The people on television, Trump, really? The people on television. I saw it on TV. They eating dogs. That lady said the dog was missing. Them immigrants took it and they probably eating it. I saw them. Oh my goodness, bro. I thought there was actually an article out there of a bunch of immigrants eating American pets. I'd be like freaked out, right? But that's not the case, because you saw it on TV and somebody said it and they thought, Trump, bro, what's wrong? What's going on?
city manager.
I'm not taking this from
But the
television.
people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
That was on
Again, the
television,
Springfield city
Trump.
manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
I'm not gonna lie, Chad. He kind of gave that to Kamala. Like, why would you even bring that up if you saw it on TV and it's not even a well-researched thing? It's just because someone says it on TV doesn't mean it's true. Like, why would you bring you? Oh my God, bro! Now you just gave her that leg up.
This is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formally worked.
Yeah, but Mitt Romney is part of that. I mean, come on. Listen, bro. Mitt Romney and the whole rest of those camp over there, I don't think they really have influence in the party right now. I really don't think about that, bro. But like, come on. Like, again, Trump had a unique opportunity, bro. You could have just focused on like the actual immigration issues, and then you venture to the extremes of immigrants eating dogs, and now oh Jesus, like what's wrong with our elections, bro? Honestly, chat, what's going on?
Worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a 4-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond
Yeah.
here.
Thank you. Because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people, not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire them. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they? But they have done such a poor job. And they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any sitting president in history by far.
What?
Let me
What does
continue
this
on
have to
immigration.
do
It was
with
what you wanted to
what are
talk
we
about
doing?
earlier? So let's get
What?
back to your deportation
Like,
proposal.
we're still on the immigration topics. He's talking about votes. I'm done. Let's get back to fresh and fit, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like, chat, I don't like, just based off of what I'm seeing right now. It's not looking good. It's not looking good, bro. I don't know what arguments bro trying to make, but like I wouldn't make that shit.
Did him? Oh, do this. We don't know. We don't know. The current system sucks.
Yeah, it's gonna be crucial.
But we'll see though. We'll see.
It's gonna be crucial. We went all the way there from free speech and Roma getting shut down in Brazil. But quickly, I want to give a shout out to Chris Pavlovsky fighting the good fight. He seems stressed out. I'm not gonna lie. Like from personal experience, the way that the stuff that he's dealing with, seeing what happened to Pavel Durov. Now I'm thinking like Chris could get arrested just for being Chris.
Chris's job is not a job. It's his life. It's almost like he's fighting
His identity.
to help everyone say what they want to say at the cost of his own
Livelihood.
peace and comfort. He could retire right now and just go away, but he's still fighting. So shout out Chris, man.
Yeah, he treats Rumble like it's his own child.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic.
Quick word from our sponsors, guys, and then we'll.
Happened to us at the airport.
And that's actually one of Rumble sponsors as well. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
About that's okay. It's okay. About the story of us getting stopped at the airport, but yeah.
All right, let's go to next topic is going to be, the next story is going to be obviously the Candace Owens one. And this one actually hits home for us especially.
Yeah.
Because,
Here we go.
as you guys know, do I have ready to go? Yeah. Okay, we're going to bring the story up right now. Just give Bills a second, guys.
It's been over a year since we were demonetized.
Yes.
And
What's going on, Bills? Okay. Oh, the Georgia school shooter. I covered this on Fed React. Since we're on it, I covered the Georgia school shooter yesterday on Fed React, guys. We read through the complaint, everything else like that. Which feel free to go check that out, guys. Fed React is my other YouTube channel.
Yes.
Where I talk about true crime, etc. I don't advertise it at all, but yeah, go check it out. Fed Reacts on YouTube. I still stream on there. And on Rumble as well. I have a Rumble channel for it. But anyway, guys, this is huge right here. Breaking: Candace Owens demonetized and suspended by YouTube. YouTube suspended Candace Owens' channel from its partner program following repeated community and ad-friendly guidelines violations. Owens is also facing a 1-week suspension after an interview with Kanye West was removed for hate speech, which I remember that interview that she put out like 2 weeks ago, and I was actually like, holy crap, like she put this interview out. This probably won't be safe, but
yeah.
Owen says there will be no show tonight or at all this week. That's because YouTube has issued me a strike and a 1-week suspension for my sit down with Kanye. For those of you that are wondering, if you get a strike on YouTube, what ends up happening is you can't stream or post anything for a week. And if you try to post on another channel, they'll consider that circumvention and they'll delete all of your stuff. So, this happened to us a million times. We get a strike. Okay, I can't stream on anywhere. We have to stop posting on our clips channels.
Yeah.
All that stuff gets banned. So,
This is stupid of her to post that Ye interview on YouTube. She should have put
Hold on. Steve, what are you talking about? You just said American foreign policy is the reason why we have migrant policies that we do. That's not 100% true. Yeah, foreign policy has a part to do with it, but domestic policy also has a huge role. Okay, so when primarily we are having sanctuary cities situation all over the place here, okay, and people take advantage of that and they misuse the system, that's not a foreign policy. So it's a little mix of both. It's not a fucking it's not just a foreign policy issue like that's like affecting immigration. It's a part of it, but we also have a domestic issue that we need to figure out how to get together before we start talking about our foreign policies. Because foreign policy, that's an even bigger fucking hill to tackle. There's so much shit that we got our tentacles in right now that's causing so much problems around the world. We don't even know where to start with that, but we do know where to start when it comes to our borders at home. So why don't we figure that out first? So I don't know how you can say I need to shut the fuck up. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like that is a crazy statement to say. Like I'm ignorant for what? How is that an ignorant statement, my boy?
on Rumble, and it was from 2022 during the A24 era. Yeah, it was from when Ye was saying "I love Hitler" and all this stuff, and peak A24 when he was saying,
yeah,
really
when he brought awareness to the situation. I was shocked, bro. When she put that interview out, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
because I watched it. I watched part of it, and like they really, they started getting into that certain topic, and yeah, I was like, wow, she should have put this on Rumble. But you don't really realize how censored YouTube is until they really start hitting you with strikes and taking you down. And here's the thing: it used to be, by the way, you would get a warning. Well, excuse me, you just get a strike. You don't even get warnings. Now they have this thing where you get warnings. But the thing is they gotta pick and choose when they want to give you warnings. Yeah. Sometimes they'll just give you a strike straight up or take your channel down. They took Amaranth down. Granted, she was putting out like porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
This is what they did to me too. It's the same band that I see what's happening to Candace, and I want to say for
Steve says, I live in Chicago. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, so Chicago is not a sanctuary city. I was wrong, right? Was I wrong about that? They're not they don't have that classification, or maybe it's just New York. So you live in Chicago, but you don't know they're a sanctuary city too. You don't know that's a domestic policy that we have that's also affecting immigration. You live in Chicago, but don't know that. That's surprising.
Candace Owens, that's very unfortunate to see. But I think she's going to get banned on YouTube very soon.
You think they're going to ban her?
Or maybe they're going to do what happened to you. But when I got banned on YouTube, it was the same thing. Yeah, I just got hit with like a bunch of warnings at once. I got hit with a bunch of strikes all at once. They started taking on all these videos, and then it was just gone. I had only one strike at the time, and then they just hit me with everything. And it was very clear that they wanted to get me off the platform. So,
which, interestingly enough, two of those things that you got banned for are no longer violations on YouTube. Talking about the election and the jab.
Yeah, the medical misinformation.
Yeah. What was up? I just think
here we go. Now here's the part. Listen, I want to get through this part because this is where Fresh actually had the W, and I kind of want to get back to the debate after this, right? But yeah, we're gonna get through this part because I want to at least give Fresh the W because this is where Fresh calls out Sneako. Because Sneako, this is the cancel culture, and this is the shit you brought yourself into. Okay, so Fresh calls out Sneako, and watch Sneako get pressed on this.
These platforms have agendas. And they have rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you're out. It's that simple.
Yes.
However, let's be fair here. In a house, you have guests to come every now and then. Some stay longer than they should stay, but they're here anyway. And you have favorites. You have your favorite guests, and your not so favorite guests, like Sneako. And as a result, they come to your house, and you're like, you know what? Play ball, have fun. The ones that I like, I'll give you some warnings. You know what? Take your shoes off. Put them by the front door. You know what? You got your shoes on. Get out of my house. This is a very simple example. I'm gonna give you.
Can you land the plane?
The point is that these companies have favorites, and if you're not a favorite, you're out. Either by something that you did that is kind of a gray area, or they may say, this person I don't like at all. Just ban it for this, this, and this, and make it very vague. And that's it. That's what it takes. Someone not like you, see your tweets, see your content, and then say, get them out of here. So it works, bro. Their platform. So.
Do you think you said something we don't know?
Huh?
We know this.
No, you don't. You went on got banned.
Okay. That was 2 years ago? And also when I was speaking about it, I knew what the risk I was taking.
Well then, if you knew that, then that was dumb.
Okay. You realize.
Yo, if Fresh, hey, hold up. Hey, we gotta give him the dub here, bro, because he's right. If you knew it was dumb, Sneako, why go the cancel culture route?
That some people need to do this. Some people need to put things on the line, just like the guy you had earlier.
Yeah.
The whistleblower who's he might lose his job to tell the truth.
Well, Sneako, I agree with you.
So, but what you're saying, like you keep saying as if we don't know that there's favoritism on social media. Everybody knows this, but some people are going to tell the truth regardless. And if you don't have those people, the truth never gets out there.
Well, guess what? When you're banned, your voice, what does it do to your voice?
Well, you're saying things that are so obvious that we know it gets suppressed and you have to go to different platforms, but the platforms are still there.
But the thing is, you know this and you still did it.
Yes.
Okay.
So what are you saying?
Some people might not know this that are making content.
Everybody knows.
No, they don't.
I talk about the ban quite a bit.
If they did, they wouldn't be getting banned.
Do you think Candace Owens didn't know that there's favoritism on social media?
No. What I'm saying is that if they don't like you, that's the point I'm trying to make here. So if you don't follow their agenda and they don't like you, that's where you're fucked.
Okay, who do you think doesn't know that got banned?
A lot of people don't know.
Can you name one who got banned who's telling the truth?
Well, I won't say their name, but someone close to us that we know very well.
Okay.
That was in Romania.
So Andrew Tate, why wouldn't you say his name?
I just think that people need to hear what's happening behind the scenes. And if they don't hear it, then they make content. Oh, I'm going to do what these guys do.
Right.
But there's risk involved with it.
You're changing your point. You're saying that we shouldn't tell the truth so that we can not get, that we don't get
What I'm
censored.
saying is, if you end up making content that's not what they want you to say,
They will ban you. We
Yes.
know this, right? But some people have to do that regardless.
no, they don't.
Okay. All right. Okay. We can
Not
disagree.
everyone wants to be a martyr, bro. And
So you don't have to be a martyr. I'm saying if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But don't try to say that like it's something we don't know. People need to tell the truth regardless of what the consequences are.
you know, people want to make RP content, right? They want to become RP content creators, and they say, "Oh, Myron Fresh, how do I do it?" And we're like, "Yo, just so you know this, when you go into it, you may lose money, you may lose your channel, you may lose friends, and maybe even, you know, your girl." And they say, "You know what? I'm good. I don't want to do it no more." But they didn't know this coming into it. So I'm saying to the public, just so you understand, you follow this pattern, you follow this path, it can happen to you. What's wrong with that?
Okay, but you're saying it to me as if like I didn't know this before. You're like you didn't know this.
No,
and
you know I'm looking at you right now.
You say it like you say it like
we
you
both know
shouldn't
that
have
you
done
were,
it.
No, we both know you were warned, and you still did it. And then
Yes.
So he's right. You got told not to go crazy on this pill popping shit, and you did. And so Fresh is basically saying exactly what you're saying, Sneako. I don't get why you're giving him an attitude. So you see how Sneako is getting all defensive now.
But they should know, so they can make a choice.
Okay, most of these people are not going to be content creators.
How do you know?
Okay,
You know what's watching.
the bigger point is that no matter what happens, tell the truth. Do not let these people hold your balls and let you and decide what you believe is true and what's not as true.
Who are these people?
Okay, Fresh. We know the people that run the platforms.
See, this is why I differ from your opinion and your thoughts, because I think
Look at Fresh trying to sound all educated. Look at him. You see, this is why. Yo, this is crazy.
everyone should make a choice. It doesn't have to be always go down this path and be a martyr. I think you can
You
choose
don't
to-
have to be a martyr.
No, but you're saying
I'm not saying you
tell
have
the
to do
truth at
that.
all costs and ruin things for yourself
Some
and your
people need
family.
to do that.
Yeah, but not everyone.
Okay, so,
So
you
I'm
don't have
making
to.
an argument for people that don't want to do this shit.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Then if you guys don't want to tell the truth, that's okay.
That's
But
fine, yeah.
I'm saying you're shaming it in a way.
I'm telling the truth.
That's fine.
Yeah, but your rhetoric is that you're shaming it away. Like you should have done this. Or you could have made more money. You could have had Twitter. You could have had Snapchat. You could have had YouTube. Whatever. You lose it, and then you still do it anyway. You still succeed regardless.
And that's good for you.
So then why do you keep bringing it up as if it's something that I made a mistake?
He sound hurt. Don't he sound hurt, chat? Don't he sound hurt, don't he? I think you did make a mistake, and we all see it, bro. You fucked up. You got canceled on everything, and you're still doing great. No one's saying you're wrong on that. It's just you did kind of make a mistake. It's okay to own up to it.
Well, what do you think?
I just told you what I think 4 times in a row. I don't think I made a mistake. I think I did the right thing.
I think you made a mistake.
Okay. Do you see like do you hear him looping?
Listen, no.
Do you hear
We
him looping?
disagree on this part.
Okay.
And the part is, you did things that you wanted to do. You paid a price for it.
So then how is that a mistake if I did what I want to do and I'm happy with the decisions and I told the truth?
What did I ask you before the show? I asked you if you could go back in time and think about what happened if you didn't do okay, man.
And what did I answer you off the show?
Okay, that's changed from when I asked you back in the day. Before, you're like, fuck. I wish I didn't get mad on YouTube.
It's difficult, of course.
But that's what I'm saying. Some people don't lose their channel or lose their livelihood. And God for sake.
Then you guys can go twerk and do OnlyFans content and then just like run around on Twitch and like then do that.
Well, guess what?
Then do that. There's
Tyson
people out there.
Speed, Playboy Max, all these famous people, they made a choice to do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing.
Okay, so you could decide, do you want to make more money and then not tell the truth and not have convictions, or do you want to tell the truth regardless and make a difference in the world? If you want to make more money and run...
You could tell Fresh is feeling it, bruh. Because that platform is not making money, chat. That platform hasn't been making money for months. Fresh is feeling it. So I low-key understand the conversation Fresh is having, but he's low-key projecting too, bruh, because they're broke. They're running broke, majority of them. So again, they're both in the same boat. Y'all niggas are the same exact boat right now.
around with celebrities and sell your soul, that's fine. It's really a choice of do you want to sell your soul or not. I would rather tell the truth. My soul is not for sale. If you want to sell it, okay. But that's not, you should not say it's a mistake to have conviction.
See, you change your opinion nowadays.
I've never changed my opinion about this.
I asked you this when we were in the UK. And someone warned you, and we spoke on the phone about it. You were there too as well.
2 years ago, the day I got banned.
Yes.
Sneako, relax. Sneako, relax. Why are you so defensive? Let him make his point.
Yes.
Yeah, it was difficult.
But that's what I'm saying.
I never regretted anything that I've done telling the truth. I've never told you that. I've never said that. I don't know why you believe that.
Bro, I never forget anything.
What did I say?
You want me to tell people what happened in that room? I can say it right now.
Say it.
It was me, Luke Belmar, his brother. Mine wasn't there. And Tristan and Andrew.
Remember. That was before I got banned.
I know. I'm giving the full context here, right?
And they warned me. You're going to yap for 5 minutes.
Warned you.
Yes, you warned me.
What's going to happen?
And I did not care.
Understandable.
Okay.
Then we were shopping, me, you, and Musa. In the UK. You got an email or a text or something like that, you got banned. You were instantly like, fuck. And like anybody would be. You were like, damn, like, quiet as a mouse. Understandable. I'll be the same way too. Then I was like, fuck, bro. What are you going to do now?
Bro, not only were you the same way when y'all got the news, Myron was crying.
Remember, Luke told you, you're like, I don't know. Understandable. Then I asked you, a little later on, do you regret doing this? You said no. But you did say, we shouldn't happen. Because things will be different. You'll probably be further ahead.
Okay, so you just proved my point.
Huh?
You just proved my point. I never regretted the decisions I made.
No. You said verbally you didn't regret it. But I could see it. You did.
You can't hide from me, Sneako. Just because you didn't say it, I can see it. You were mad. You were real mad. And you know what? The way Sneako's being defensive about this right now, you can absolutely tell it still bothers him. So, I mean, either way, if these guys had an option, would they take it all back and start over? Absolutely, they would. Don't let him lie to you. Sneako's acting like, well, I'm still doing kind of well. I mean, my platform is still going strong, but you wish you had that extra 100K from YouTube, now didn't you? All right, so everything's a little bit better with a little bit of cash. Okay, a little bit of cash, you'll be a lot better. So stop pretending to us. Y'all just like these politicians. This is just acting. That's what they're both doing. Fresh feels the same pain too, but it's too much of a pussy to confront Myron because Myron is the source of it. All right, so he's taking it out on Sneako. Sneako's getting defensive because he's like, I'm happy. And Fresh is like, no, you're not, because I'm not happy. Bottom line is, all right, if you have a platform, don't put it at risk all in the name of dumb shit.
You could see the words in my eyes. Yeah, obviously it was a difficult situation.
You were freaking out.
Yes, of course. Things get. I'm sure Candace is freaking out right now. I'm sure Chris is freaking out. I'm sure Pablo Durop in jail is freaking out right now.
Not everyone wants to go through that bullshit.
If you don't want to go through difficult situations because you don't care about telling the truth, then that's fine.
No.
Well, Sneako, I don't think you cared about telling the truth even while you were going through it. The clout was just too damn good, okay? You only turned it into a truth cause after you got the consequences of the fast money you were chasing, okay? So that was just it. That was the only difference there. Other than that, my boy, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. The moment you got demonetized, you took a serious hit. Now, don't get me wrong with the whole Islam and where he's going now. He's on a, it looks like from the outside, on a good path. Right, that's what it looks like to me. But then again, we don't know. We don't know. We wouldn't know at the end of the day. But listen, Sneako, did you drop the ball? Yes. But to be fair, so did Fresh and Fit.
But so hold on, by your argument, everyone on here just, you know what, make a channel on YouTube.
No. I'm not saying that. That wasn't my argument.
No, I'm telling you what.
I'm saying some people need to do it.
No, that's fine.
Then do not call the people that do it. Do not shame them and say you made a mistake.
I didn't shame them. I shamed you.
Okay, so I'm in that
I didn't shame them. I shamed you.
category. Don't say that I made a mistake because I never said that and I do not believe that.
Hold on. You and I both know, if you didn't get banned on YouTube, where you be today?
And probably running around with OnlyFans whores in LA.
No.
Is that what the life that you want people to live?
You're putting in a context because you want to make it look bad.
That's what I would be doing. If I was a mainstream YouTuber, I would be making nonsense content, selling a lie, not telling the truth. Some people need to do it.
I mean, we're not gonna lie. That's kind of what you were doing for a minute, though.
I'd say it on YouTube. Would I have made more money? Maybe. Would I be have more industry connection? Would I be at a Diddy party and a Mike Rubin party? Maybe. But is that worth trading for what I have now? No. And like you said earlier, the most important thing is a connection to God. That's something that I've been able to find. If I still had all the mainstream connections and I still was doing the dance that they want you to dance to, would I have a connection with God? Maybe not. So do not say I made a mistake. You're doing the smirk thing, but it's a silly argument you're making.
No, I actually agree with Fresh here. You did make a mistake. Listen, it's one thing to say, okay, I don't regret my decision, right? Because, again, if you don't regret it, at least you can always remind yourself, I went through that. This is the punishment. That way, if I come across it again, I'm going to make sure I make better decisions, right? But you can always admit that you made a mistake, right? You can admit that you made a mistake. You don't have to regret your decisions, right? But you still have to realize that you made a mistake and keep it pushing. If you're not willing to acknowledge that, there's whole scenario that you went through trying to be a little Andrew Tate was a goddamn mistake, then you're clearly not ready for growth, bro. And honestly, I'm kind of skeptical about this whole thing, because you have to realize there was a mistake happening, because then there could be another grift down the pipeline that you could just somehow jump onto and then make the exact same problems. All right, look at what your daddy's going through right now, Andrew Tate. It's not looking good for him. So again, it's okay to not have regrets, but you got to admit that you made a mistake, bro.
You know why I think that's bullshit?
Why?
I know you very well, Sneako. I've known you for quite a while. You go from genre to genre based on how they benefit you in the moment, right?
What'd you say?
You come
Whoa! Did Fresh just call Sneako a grifter? Chat, let me play that one more time. Did Fresh Prince CEO just call Sneako a grifter? And you heard what Sneako said. Hey, wait, what did you say? I go from platform to platform doing what, nigga? Yo, this is getting heated, bro. Chat, what is happening?
I think that's bullshit.
Why?
I know you very well, Sneako. I've known you for quite a while. You go from genre to genre.
Genre to genre. Not even platform to platform. He said genre to genre.
Based on how they benefit you in the moment, right?
Based on how it benefits you in the moment. Chat, what does that mean? To me, it sounds like he's calling Sneako a grifter. He just, oh, hold up. I didn't think he had the balls. I honestly think, I didn't think Fresh had the balls. He just called Sneako a grifter, bruh. Yo, to his face. Yo, Sneako, this is, chat, and this is why I told you at the start of the stream, all right? I had to give Fresh a rare dub here, because he's not lying. He's telling the truth. Sneako, you do go from genre to genre based on how you feel at the time. Destiny called you out. Abba called you out. A gang of other people called you out, and you still didn't listen to him. Even Fresh and Fit called you out. You weren't trying to listen. So Fresh is within his rights to actually call you a grifter to your face live. This is historical. This is an historical moment, chat.
What'd you say?
You come genre to genre. It's like the
Connections, and I still was like doing the dance that they want you to dance to.
right?
What'd you say?
You come genre to genre. It's like the, I want to say, not genre, but like different types of like content based on your current situation. For example, you did the stuff about being free-spirited, where you can be creative and give your opinions on topics.
And I still do. I just made a documentary
And then
about
you went
you.
from that to Red Pill.
Y'all saw how Myron was snickering in the background when Fresh said that, and Sneako called him out. Like, what'd you say? Myron was laughing because Myron knew exactly what Fresh was trying to say. He called you a grifter, and Sneako's getting. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Sneako getting pressed right now. He getting pressed heavy.
And I'm still here on a Red Pill podcast right now.
No, but you just talked shit about us the other day. And then
I didn't talk shit about you.
No, that Red Pill stuff.
Yeah, I've been talking shit about the vasectomy thing for over a year.
Yeah, but you were in the same group. Anyhow,
Oh, yo, this is Get Back Gang in real time. Yo, chat. This is Get Back Gang in real time, because Sneako did join up with Destiny for a while. There was a brief moment that Sneako teamed up with Destiny, and all of a sudden, they both roasted the godfather of the pill popper space. And Fresh is now reminding Sneako of that day. I don't think they forgot, because Fresh is still saying, hey, you still technically were a pill popper. Just saying, and you went after us. So this is Sneako's fork in the road, right? And to be fair, he had many fork in the road, because Sneako changes genres based on his emotions. Shout out to Fresh, but still, right? This is a fork in the road, because you wrote off the pill popping shit. That's the same crap that got you canceled, and now after you're canceled, you got a reverse 180 talking about, hey, this stuff is garbage. It's not good for you. It's horrible. He got a point. He's not lying.
Still here. I'm still on your podcast right now.
no, but there's no girls here. The point is, you go from topic to topic. I'm just saying, if you were still on YouTube, I guarantee you say the whole thoughts and the OnlyFans thing. That may be a component, but that would not be the only thing that you're doing on YouTube, right?
Okay.
So I'm just trying to say, opportunity comes at a cost. That cost, I think, in personal opinion,
It's not worth it.
for some people, it's not.
Okay.
So why am I gonna tell them, yeah, go be a martyr, tell the truth and get banned? For what?
Okay.
Unless you want to,
We're
then go ahead.
going in circles. The point is,
But that's what Myron does, Fresh. What? That's essentially what Myron does. We're truth tellers. We got this demonetized. We got the platform. Help us. That's what you guys do. So it's funny you're calling out Sneako, but y'all are on the same boat. That's crazy.
People need to do it, and if you don't want to, that's fine. But don't shame the people. We should be encouraging the people.
I'm shaming
you. We should be encouraging the people. Like when the guy comes on and he risks his job.
I did.
Okay, so what is the shame with me? What is your?
I'm just trolling you.
Okay, so you're just yapping like one of the whores who come to the panel.
Well,
just for
also
content?
because
Damn, hey, yo, Sneako's getting pressed. Chat, Sneako's getting pressed. You could tell he feeling that. He getting pressed right now. Now you yapping like a hoe. Hey, come on, Sneako. You mad because he poked the little Nas? Hey, listen, he poked the nerve. You know it. You know it, right? And it's Fresh of all people calling you out. See, Fresh does have his rare moments, chat. And we got to be honest about that. Fresh does have his moments, and this is why we got to give him a W, because he's right. And now Sneako's all pressed and shit. Like you a hoe, huh? You a hoe? No, bro. He kind of, yeah, he is a hoe, but still, he's right. So he's a hoe calling you out because he's right, bro. You're a grifter, and now you're getting your comeuppance by them, because you do honestly. If you had your YouTube platform still, this wouldn't be a problem. You would actually you would choose that option. Fresh is right. And do you know why Fresh is right? Because deep down, they wish, or he wishes, he was still partnered on YouTube. They all do. But unfortunately, Fresh couldn't stop Myron from ruining everything. Even though Fresh didn't directly participate in the racism bullshit that Myron did, it still got the whole platform drugged down. Okay? So, Loki, Fresh is calling Sneako out, but realistically, you could just redirect this whole energy back to Myron. So this debate to me is Fresh basically projecting his frustrations about Myron onto Sneako, right? Because they're all feeling the pain right now. And with Candace Owens joining the club, it's not looking good for a lot of these pill poppers and these alt-right guys.
I think, personally, you could have been way different. But that's just my opinion. Because I know people that support you. I know certain things behind the scenes. I won't see the camera. But it's like, I just think you could have been huge, bro.
Okay, you keep saying that, but you can't change what happened.
No, I'm not saying that.
So why do you?
But you had the ability to change it. They were warning you. We have videos of Abba warning you. We got videos of Destiny warning you. You didn't listen. You had the ability to change course. You didn't. And now you're here. And Fresh is right. You regret it. You can act like, I don't regret it. I'm still successful. No, you would have been in a better off position if you didn't. Like, just be real with yourselves, man.
You keep saying that.
Because we both know you could have stopped it.
Okay, so what is the point of saying this now?
So that everyone can see watching here, they have a choice to make. Either you can tell the truth at a cost, or make content and
You guys, I'm still making the content that I was making.
No! This is an intervention. Did we just randomly walk into Odo? We left, took a break, watched a debate, came back, and now Fresh is intervening on Sneako. Hey, bro. Hey, listen, bro, Sneako. Have a seat right there. All right? We got to talk. Okay? Deep down, you don't realize you have a problem, bro. You deep down wish that you were successful, and now you're not. And we got to talk to you about this. Because, bro, I'm going to tell you this. Think about this. You could have been bigger. You could have been bigger, bro. Bigger than what you are right now. Think about this. Listen, bro, I feel you. We're there right now, bro. We're there right now, bro. Okay? Think about this. Okay? Listen, bro. Okay? You regret it. Trust me. I know you. I know you, Sneako. You regret this. Bro. Yo, Fresh is low-key. Yo, Fresh is stepping up with that pressure. Hey, I just wish you had this energy from Myron. Why don't you have the same energy from Myron, bruh?
During my like creative era, I just made a documentary in Bosnia. I think it's some of the best work I've made. You know, and that's something maybe I wouldn't have the finances, maybe I wouldn't have the knowledge to make it if I was still on YouTube. Nothing was really taken away. Actually, I would advise people, if you have real convictions and you believe in something, tell it no matter the cost. Say the truth, and having that, like me rejecting the gambling deal that they offered, I take more pride in that. I'm more happy with myself and my soul than having the $20 million. What are you really going to do with that extra money? You can't take it with you when you die. What's more important is that you know you did the right thing and the people around you are proud of you. Tell the truth. Do the right thing. Don't sell your soul.
So you're telling me, if I don't go on camera and I
It's not just
truth.
about podcasts. It's about any aspect of life. Like the guy who came on and risked his job. He's coming here and he's telling the truth about what happened in the immigration to the U.S. and U.S. Customs. And now he's going to have that pride and know with himself that I did the right thing. Even though all the cards were stacked against me, I chose to make the right decision.
But what did you have?
Yeah, but pride is what comes before your downfall, bro. So what's all that pride gonna do for you if you just broke? Yeah, I was right though, but you're a right brokey. So congratulations, you were right, but now no one cares. What's the point? So again, sometimes people just gotta weigh their options.
By his back.
We'll figure it out.
No, he's gone.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. That is the answer. If you're doing this willy-nilly, what do you really have? Nothing.
Are you disagreeing with me or not?
Nigga, I am!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Sneako, stop pretending you don't know what he's trying to say. Although, we actually kind of have to do some brainstorming to figure out what Fresh is trying to say. We still kind of understand where he's getting at.
Talking about? I just told you. You have a choice to make. Either you make content.
I can't do this anymore.
I can't either. Do it. You're going to loops.
Okay. Do you think I made a mistake? Yes or no?
Personally, I think so.
Okay. Then I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna try to.
And also somebody else too as well. That sponsors you right now. But okay, let's move on.
I don't think you made a mistake.
And that's it. And that's like the big crux of it, right? What do y'all think? Do y'all think Sneako made a mistake here? Or do you think that Fresh was right? Okay, put a 1 if you think Fresh was right. Put a 2 if you think Sneako actually did make a mistake. It's a 2 for me, dog. No. Actually, no. That's a dumb question because it goes either way, right? All right. So put a 1 if you think Fresh was right, or put a 2 if you think Sneako was wrong, right? Listen. I don't know. I think Fresh is right on this one. And Sneako's also wrong. They're both wrong, I guess, and right at the same time. Because again, it's like Fresh is calling out Sneako, but then it's like, yeah, but then you're in the same boat. But then he's also right in calling out Sneako because Sneako does regret it. He does, right? So it's tough. It's a really tough situation. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. That's essentially what we just watched. Okay. I want to go back to the debate though. I want to see what's going on. We're gonna watch the debate for a little bit, and then we're gonna just close out the stream.
In this moment, but also as commander-in-chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing?
There we go. This is what I want to hear.
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were
Ukraine is they're losing the East. The East is gonna fall. The F-16s, the fucking tanks, none of them are working. They're losing weapons and manpower. They got to get training and fucking from refugees in Poland to ship them off to goddamn Ukraine. They're literally gathering refugees from Poland, Ukrainian refugees, and then trying to retrain them and then get battalions out there because they're running out of men. They're independent, yeah, sure. For how long? They're about to lose Petrovsk, and Petrovsk is one of their biggest fucking standing stronghold in the eastern flank right now. As soon as that falls, there's nothing else from there all the way towards the Dnieper River. Is it Dnieper River? Dnieper? How you say that for some of my Russian fan base or Ukrainian fan base, whatever it is? It's not good. They're not independent right now. They are suffering. Okay, it's not. We need to end this war. That's what we need to do. We need to, and we can't come at it with this whole NATO staying on top and saying we gotta come at it and we hold on to Kursk and we use that as a bargaining chip. It's not gonna happen. They're in the top position right now. We got to give them what they want in order for you to have a country. Otherwise, they're gonna keep going, bro. I don't know what she's saying.
President, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence.
Zelensky is a joke. I'm sorry. Literally, he was an actual comedian, and now he's failing the people. Ukrainian people hate this guy. Okay, so Zelensky is not the guy right now. He's really not. He's losing focus. All right, he's firing people left and right. There's a big problem over there. Okay, so how about we just stop meddling in other people's fucking elections? How about that?
Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch?
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow, and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women, but he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now. But eventually, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening.
No, Trump, the issue is NATO expansion. That's the issue. It's not that if you were president, Putin would be sitting happy and 300,000 men wouldn't have lost their lives. No, Putin wasn't joking. He would have went into Ukraine either way. As long as y'all kept making and flirting with the idea that they were going to join NATO, okay, that was grounds for Putin to go in there. So, again, we're not even talking on a policy aspect of this right now, okay? Because either way, if NATO was still allowed to expand, Putin would still go in. He doesn't care. And now that he's having some success in Ukraine, who knows where it's going to go from there, right? It might go into other places, all right? We're looking at the Transnistria right now, right? If they're able to secure Odessa and create that bridge all the way through to Transnistria, that might spark another problem for Moldova. There's a lot of issues here, okay? So it's not just, I don't know, bro. It's crazy. He'll be sitting pretty with 300,000 less dead men. No, Putin wanted that because he's seen the aggression and he wants to do something against that. It is what it is, bro.
But he does have that, something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand.
And Steve says, Duke the Don, so they are fighting back. No one gives Ukraine a chance. So Duke the Don, Ukraine should give up their land to an invader. When did I say that? No. When did I actually say that? I said peace. We need to stop the war as it is right now. I never said they should give up their land. Again, this is why, because people then tend to, like, when I say something, y'all read into things that was never said. I never said that. You're saying, is that stupid shit you're saying? No, that's the stupid shit you just said. I never said that. Ryan, play this back. That never came out of my mouth. I never said Ukraine should just give up. I said we need to negotiate a peace treaty right now. It needs to end right now. They're losing too much men. All right? I'm just saying that, listen, right now that Russia is in Ukraine, we don't know where it's going to end. It might be all the way to the Dnieper River, or it might be all the way to Kiev. But right now, what we do understand, Ukraine cannot keep sustaining these losses, bro. That's what the one thing we do know. All right. So me saying they have to give up their land, that's not what I said. I never said that. See, some of y'all get so like politically just invested. You start hearing things that never was said.
Sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and
shout out,
started
bro.
the war.
It's good.
Because everything they said was weak and stupid. They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary.
Okay. Tell me the facts right now. No, tell me the facts. I hate when people do this. They just post, "Oh, you're ignorant to the facts." What's the facts? Right now. No, you got the hot seat, brother. What is the facts, Steve? No, because you didn't. I want you to. No. Matter of fact, get up here. Get up here, Steve. Come tell me the facts. No, we're gonna go debate back to back right now. Tell me the facts. Tell me the facts. I'm ignorant. See, people like you just come up here and say shit like that. What am I ignorant about? Come talk to me about it. What are the facts? No, because a lot of y'all say, "Oh, you're ignorant to the facts," but then you don't say anything. What's the facts? Tell me what I got wrong. So we didn't have a plan back in 2008, and even before that, to have them at least consider them into NATO. We didn't have that. We didn't okay. What was the whole idea of them annexing Crimea? Can we go into that? Just stop just saying, "Oh, you're wrong," without explanation, and then tell me why I'm wrong, and let's have a discussion about it. That's what's called political discourse. Like this is what people. This is how people get ignorant. Oh, you're just wrong. Why? Tell me. Like, well, why? Why am I wrong? Y'all niggas just say shit like that with no evidence. That's the problem with discourse today, and nothing gets done. Oh, you're just wrong. What? So NATO isn't expanding?
They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden.
Hold up, time out. The thing is, a lot of y'all, we have to point out when America is wrong. Okay, we have to point out the fact when America imperialism is getting too far. All right, we can't control everything. There are listen, we're going into a multipolar world, and America has to accept that. Okay, this isn't post 1990s, the fall of the Soviet Union, where we emerged as the world's sole hegemon. Okay, it's no longer the case. China's popping up, Russia's popping up, all these other countries are popping up now. We're living in a multipolar world. You got Turkey getting up and getting ready to do something now. A lot of countries are starting to find their gravel, and they're springing off of that. We can't keep doing this mess anymore. All right. If we have to be honest about America's policies, we also have to be honest about our policies overseas and what the fuck we're doing. We got to be honest about that. And a lot of both on the left and the right, we're not stupid to America's fucking designs right now. It'd be ignorant to just say, "Oh, no, it was totally unprovoked." America doesn't meddle at all. That's what you want to tell me? America doesn't do any meddling across the world?
My opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fella. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies.
And that is the same shit that's causing problems around the world right now. You think sanctions, when we slap sanctions on all these random countries out there, are we helping the American people, or are the American people suffering? I'll wait. And then you guys can tell me I'm wrong. So the sanctions help America's and its allies around the world? So I guess if it does, if we're slapping sanctions on just about everybody, right, Americans should be just sitting well right now. We shouldn't have economic problems that we're facing right now. We shouldn't have issues with tariffs. We shouldn't have all these fucking issues, right? But then again, we do, because when we're putting ourselves in place and then start trying to dictate other people's policies, we start having problems, all right? And it starts affecting us. So you tell me how the sanctions are doing right now. And you're seeing like the other side of the world, they're developing a counteraction to our fucking sanction policies. Pretty soon, within the next decade, U.S. sanctions will be meaningless. So we talk about advocating for American leadership across the world, but then the actions we're taking is making us, like, pretty much shoving us to the backseat of this whole thing. That's the problem.
because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is commander-in-chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility.
Then lift the pressure on Mongolia. How about that? Relieve the pressure off of India. How about that? Let's stop pressuring India. Let's stop pressuring Turkey. Let's relieve the pressure. If we're really about that, let's stop pressuring all these countries to sanction all these other people. How about we stop that? Let them do what they want to do, because they, unlike us, who live on an island between two oceans, they actually live next to those two fucking major countries, Russia and China. So when we're telling them to do things, hey, India, you got to do this, or else we're gonna do something, right? We're putting more pressure on them, because they're looking at it like, yo, Russia's our neighbor, China's a neighbor. We depend more on them than anything else right now, right? So you're trying to make us slap sanctions on them or do certain things on them. It's not going to work. So this club that we're building is alienating other people. We have to stop. This isn't a nationwide version of a high school fucking club or what do you call it? Exclusive club. Stop this. We're dealing with countries here.
In terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen, he's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't.
Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if Trump actually did that. I don't know. I actually don't know, right? But what I can say is he's right on the NATO part. Like, we're basically it. When it comes to NATO, we are NATO. like United States, this is what I'm saying. When we talk about NATO, and when I say it's U.S. expansion, is because we're majority. If we left NATO right now as it is, you think Germany is going to fucking pick up the weight? Germany's economic situation has been deteriorating since we forced them to slap sanctions on Russia. Look at their energy infrastructure right now. It's not doing so hot. Okay? So again, it's like Germany used to be the powerhouse of Europe. What happened? What happened to Germans? Y'all used to be the powerhouse of Europe. What happened to y'all? Y'all are just fucking weak vassals. That's what we see now. A bunch of vassalized states in the European Union or European states over there. Y'all have no power because U.S., we're the ones funding everything. Y'all got lazy. No one wants to build anything anymore. They want the U.S. to come in and save them. So then we're saying, oh, okay, NATO is really the U.S. We're not joking, bro. Like, so I'm not, now what Trump's saying, I don't know if he actually got the other countries to pay up. The way I see it, it still looks like everything's the same old story, but he's not wrong. Like, we are NATO. America is NATO, bro.
Pay, we're not going to protect you.
President
Otherwise,
Trump.
we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war.
No, now we're getting ready to shove all that money to Israel. Guess what? Because Israel wants a war with Iran. That's what they're not telling you about. Israel, that's the problem. Like Israel, the Israeli government right now is packed with a bunch of warmongers. Okay, and don't let this fucking Afghanistan shit fool you. And that shit pisses me off, right? We pulled out of Afghanistan because we needed to get that money and resources and redirect it into a new war that's going to start up. Okay, Israel versus Afghanistan, not Afghanistan, versus Iran. Okay, so Afghanistan was because be funding Afghanistan, funding Ukraine, and then have the shit with Israel and Iran pop off, and then there's no resources for that. Something has to give there. Afghanistan is pretty much done. You can't win there. It's the death of all empires. You can't. There's nothing you can do but get bogged down in Afghanistan. So you get the fuck out and redirect your focus to your other proxies like Israel. You give Israel the money, give weapons, and the backing. They're gonna go in and start doing shit to Iran. So that's what's gonna happen. So the pullout from Afghanistan was a strategic decision. I don't even think it was like even something that Joe Biden even really had influence in. It was just something that it was like, hey, DOD or DOJ or whatever it is, we gotta, yeah, if this is gonna pop off, we need some resources to get freed up, because believe it or not, America doesn't have infinite resources. We don't have infinite money we can just send off to these countries, or infinite weapons we can just ship out there. There's a finite amount of them, and we got to redirect where we can.
And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone.
Yo, Steve, click the link. I want to see how my immigration policies are. I want to click the link. He has the link right there.
Around the world the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this. And the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the president of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her.
That's funny, because we're slowly losing respect around the world. This imperialism shit we're doing, it has to stop. Okay, this new liberal world order and have everyone adhere to liberal world values. Okay, not all countries share the same values, nor do they want to. Can we just leave them alone? How about that be the new policy? Because us trying to impose that, or try to impose our foreign policy, it's getting a lot of countries to not look at us as the strong leaders anymore. We're like that kid in the playground playing with a box of matches. That's what it looks like right now.
Saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within Afghanistan. They don't bother doing.
We got smoked by a bunch of guys wearing sandals and AKs, and now they're running the government. So it just goes to show you 20 years in Afghanistan, what was it all about? Like multi-generations fighting a war, and we got nothing to show for it. Just think about how many American lives died. Just think about it. And not even just that, innocent civilians in these countries dead. For what?
Doing that because, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was We were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move
And
on.
these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent.
Shut the no, it's not. What the fuck, Trump? That was just a dumb thing to say. That is not why Russia attacked Ukraine. What is he talking about, bro? That is definitely not. Why is he doing this? This is such a this is a tart statement, Trump. That is not that. You sound ignorant as fuck, bro.
She and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, "I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black."
All right, we got Steve here. This would be a natural point here. What's good, Steve?
Can you hear me?
I can hear it loud and clear.
All right.
Chicago.
Cool.
Where am I wrong at? So is Chicago not a sanctuary city?
Yes, Chicago is a sanctuary city, but let's make sure that we're on the same page in terms of definitions. What is a sanctuary city?
So pretty much a situation where no one's going to ask about your immigration status, right? So like it's not going to be disclosed to authorities or used in any way that is going to be or lead to your deportation, right?
Yes. So let me. You're not far off, but let me sort of refine it a little bit.
Look for the definition. That was just off the top of my head.
No. You're not wrong. We're close here. So all that it means simply is that if you are a undocumented immigrant, then when you're interacting with law enforcement, fire, emergency services, etc., the city that you're in, they have an incentive to say, hey, listen, we want you as an undocumented immigrant to call the police, call emergency services if your neighbor's house is burning down, right? So that other houses don't catch on fire, because the number one thing that undocumented immigrants are terrified of, they are terrified of interaction with law enforcement, because that means that they could get caught up, clapped up, and sent back where they came. So to incentivize them to do that, the law enforcement does not ask them about their immigration status, because they want them to be basically good citizens, essentially, while they're at least here, leaving their status aside. Do we concur on that?
I don't think it's because you're saying it's because part of the reason is, are you saying that's part of the reason because the government doesn't want to?
That is the reason. The reason
it wants to incentivize them to be good citizens.
In other words, so if I'm terrified of deportation, right, I do not want to interact with law enforcement. So if I call, if there's an altercation next door, and I'm an undocumented immigrant, I'm not likely, or I'm less likely to call the police, because, I don't want them inquiring about my immigration status. Right. But from the city's point of view, they're saying, no, pick up the phone. If there's a foul going on, call us so that we can get involved and fix the situation, as opposed to you sitting there in silence and looking out for your own skin, right?
Right.
So
but then why would you, if you're supposed to incentivize them to be good citizens, why is he in a situation where now the cops need to be called on him? Because it seemed like even before the cops.
What do you mean? I don't think I understand the question.
I'm looking at your example, right? You're saying if a guy is sitting there and they're going to get the cops called on him and he's scared to get deported, right? That's essentially the city would want them to get the cops called on him because he did something bad or something, right? Or I guess your example isn't really making any sense, because to me,
so what I'm saying is if
getting called on you, you're not being a good citizen to begin with. In that moment,
I think we're talking past each other a little bit. All I'm saying is, if you're an undocumented individual or you do not have the legal right to be here, but you've entered the country either illegally or migrants are here legally. They're legally allowed to be here. But if you're undocumented, you've entered the country illegally, either through one of our ports of entry or you've overstayed your visa. Obviously, those people, they do not want any kind of contact with law enforcement, right?
Right, because they're breaking the law.
Right, because exactly. But here's the thing, though. But these people live amongst us, right? And as a result of them living amongst us, there are responsibilities to being sort of, even if they're a quasi-citizen of our city, we want them to say, hey, man, if someone is getting their house robbed next door, we want that person to pick up the phone, regardless of their immigration status, and call the police to intervene to stop that burglary or whatever is going on, right? So their status should not stop them from calling. And the way that you do that is to say, hey, we're not going to ask about your immigration status.
Now, here's the thing. I don't think people should discriminate based off of immigration statuses or anything like that. So I will to some degree agree with you there. But here's where I'm disagreeing, because I was a immigrant, and I was here for a long time before I transitioned.
I'm an immigrant myself. I actually went through the entire naturalization process.
Through the entire legal system, we paid them all that fucking money. All right, just to wanted to do it the right way. So here I'm an immigrant living amongst people. Good citizen, not causing any problem, doing everything right. But the thing is, those guys, they're starting off already breaking the law. So me as an immigrant, I understand their plight. Why did I do it the right way and then you snuck in?
Some people, hey, listen, man, let me put this way. I had the best way that I could possibly come here. I'm from Jamaica originally. My grandmother worked for the Consul General to this particular part of the United States. So I was extremely lucky. I had political connections that got me here, right? However, not everyone has that opportunity. Not everyone has the same deck of cards laid out to them. I've met all kinds of people that have of different immigration statuses, and I've met people that have snuck in multiple times, etc. But one thing I do know is that the people that are, just think about someone that walks 1,500 miles, dude. That's the kind of person that we want here. That they've proven something, that they want it more than some asshole that was just born here.
Right.
Because that person didn't do shit to get here. They were just born here. They were just lucky to get here.
Of their character, meaning there's determination there, right? But that doesn't mean
yes.
When it's determined that you know who they are. For instance, you could be determined.
It doesn't.
You can still be a piece of shit, right? So yeah, you're
That's
determined.
possible, yeah.
Better, life. But on that end, we'll give you credit because you took that 1,500-mile journey to come here. But you could still be a piece of shit, right? So again,
it's entirely possible, yes. So, let
me finish up, right? Because we got to get back to the other point. My main thing is, does that mean, though, and let's just move in that aside, does that mean, though, that even if a person goes on that 1,500-mile journey and comes to this country illegally, that they should be the burden of the taxpayers in the United States? As a taxpayer yourself.
Well, there's a couple. I look at it from a very different perspective, which is that I'm looking at it from an economic point of view, which is that population size is directly linked to our economic fortunes, and most of Western Europe, most of Asia has a shrinking population size, which means that they are not going to have the young people to pay into the system to take care of the people that are getting older, and that means that they are going to either have to reduce services or raise taxes, right? Fortunately for the United States, you're supposed to be like, the ratio is like 1 to 2, essentially, right? Most European countries are like 1 to like 0.7 or something like that, right? Which is not ideal. America, fortunately, we're like 1 to 1.9, 1.8, but we're falling. The only reason why that we're able to keep up with it is because of immigrants. Now, the problem that we have is that we have a broken immigration system. It is by design that it's broken.
I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Because corporate America wants there to be a bifurcated labor system. corporate America exploits illegal labor or undocumented immigrant labor, who do you think is in the slaughterhouses? Who do you think is bending over in the hot ass sun, picking fruits and berries and all that kind of shit and dragging shit off trees? It's people that are being exploited, broke ass people, and then they're trying to get us to turn against people that don't have any fucking money or political power. The people that have the political power are the people that are in the C-suites, the corporations, the people that exploit the labor and then they give some of that money to politicians to then manipulate us to hate those people when it's actually those people are not our enemies.
You're absolutely right. Can I squeeze in here for a second? You're absolutely right. And
Go ahead.
Because let me cover your first point here. We were talking about the population, situation. Yeah, that is a huge thing where, a lot of them, they're not. And I actually mentioned that earlier in the stream when we watched the first.
You did. To your credit, you did.
It's a population replacement thing, right? We're below that threshold. It's worse for European countries, and it's starting to look bad for Americans here, right? So that is a factor in it, right? And then when we talk about exploited, though, you're absolutely right. Corporations do exploit immigrant labor. That's not something we're going to sit there and ignore. That doesn't happen. However, though, that's kind of the consequences when you're in a situation where you don't have a status, right? You're in a position where you have someone who has that power over you to exploit you because you're in a powerless position. So when you're coming in the illegal way, you're literally putting yourself in that situation because you're here where you don't have papers to even get a job, you don't have papers to even get an apartment, or even to even get a bank account to even start being functional, right? Which leaves you susceptible to being exploited by not just corporations, criminal gangs, people who also facilitate in the trafficking of some of these people too as well. They gangs
or just people that go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, they also run gangs in country that ends up exploiting these guys in these weird debt schemes that they end up duping these people into, right? So you're absolutely right. We're both in agreement there. There's exploitation going on around, and there's that need for the population type of replacement things there. But I think that
So how do you fix it?
It's more of a multifaceted thing. So it's not just a one solution fits all. We kind of going to your earlier, we have a broken immigration system. That's the first we have to start. Now, I'm not a migrant. I'm not an immigration officer or Homeland Security, right? So I don't know the intricacies of that, but I think we start there first, right? So we start looking at what is the certain blockages in the system right now, the certain inefficiencies. That is
such as. So I'll give you one.
Like the applications and go ahead. I was going to say like applications for visas and green cards and things like that. Length of time.
So,
because I've been through it. Like I know exactly.
Yeah. Listen, you're an immigrant from your family's from Nigeria, right?
Nigeria.
Yeah. So if you growing up in a immigrant household, I'm sure that you've heard stuff like, Uncle so and so had been, we just found out the other day that his visa got denied, but the guy had been applying for 10 years, right? I heard that stuff growing up all throughout my teen years of, hey, such and such just got denied, and they'd been at it for a decade or more sometimes, right? So we have a system that is extremely slow. Absolutely. It's undermanned and understaffed, right? There's not enough judges to process people through the system. It takes forever, and people are just like, you know what? My country is
on fire.
It's on fire, and they're trying to run. Or they could be people that are actually doing well where they are, but they're like, you know what? I want to play on a bigger stage, and they come here and they take a chance on themselves, right? So either way, there's two things going on. We have people that actually really want to come here, and we have a need for people to be here to keep our standard of living up and to enhance our economy. So we need to build a system that accomplishes that and also punishes not fucking like migrants with nothing in their fucking pockets, but the corporations and the people that actually hire those people, right? So if a great example, they'll hire these people and pay them fucking nothing, work them to death. And basically, those people are not going to unionize. Those people are not going to ask for more money because guess what? If they get out of line, ICE will be called on them. They'll be fucking rounded up and sent out of, the country, and they'll just hire more people. So what is the incentive? You gotta arrest the CEO. You got to arrest the CEO. You got to arrest the manager. Then that shit would stop, because the incentive is there. There's a reason why they're being pulled here, because there are jobs here. The jobs are being given out by the people in charge of capital, not by fucking poor people.
I hear what you're saying, right? So we definitely do gotta punish the people who are exploiting them. I don't know if arresting them would probably be, and I'm just speaking realistically here, because America doesn't have a track record of doing any of that. So we're just gonna,
of course not, but
probably not gonna happen. But maybe like instituting fines or certain things like that. That you know,
I mean,
see that happening. But even just getting there, a tough hill to climb. Because
let's talk about just being aware. Let's forget about it. At least being aware as the public that is where we need to get to. Let's, just even this is the mind share of figuring that out.
Here's the thing, and you know what's crazy? Because you were in the chat, you were completely misunderstanding where I'm coming from, but here we are talking, and we're in the exact same place. I completely understand. It has to start with that system, but the thing is, that what do you think? We just watched a little snippet of debate right now. Did you see him even talk about remotely anything close to what we're talking about? No, they were talking about trafficking.
No, right? Yeah, so, because TV is not designed for that, for deep conversation.
But that's
not network TV is not.
But but that's part of the problem, though. Wouldn't you agree? If it's not designed, of course. Now think about what it's doing to our brains when we're watching something where what is designed for us not to get the proper information. We're not going to get the right information because it's not designed for us.
Well, I personally don't watch the debates because it's a performance, right? And the person that has the biggest zinger is not exactly the person that's the most correct. All that I need to know is, what are your fucking policies? I can research that. What did you do in the past? And and that's all that I need. I don't need you to, as a matter of fact, I'd prefer there not to be a debate and just an interview where the person is grilled rigorously, like in an adversarial way by the press, to say, hey, listen, this is what you believe. Well, here's the counter to it, and actually tell the truth, not elevate lies to equal the truth, which the press often does, right? They'll do some shit like, Republican says this, Democrat says this. Okay, time to go to a break. Well, why isn't the fucking journalist saying, but wait a minute, why are you telling people on my air this actual lie? Here's the truth. Here's how you can find out this is the truth. That's not done. That's why we're fucking stupid in this country, because we're brainwashed by the junk food media that we have.
We're in the same boat, right? And like, can you just reeling it back a little bit, right? It goes back to kind of big issues that we struggle with when we're trying to tackle the system of illegal immigration. It has to start with, like you mentioned a lot of great things, a lot of stuff you were mentioning about the slow up times and the applications and all the different things. It's an actual problem, and the understaffed personnel and the over. Hang on, I know. Okay. You're absolutely right, and those are things we have to start targeting. The problem is kind of what you mentioned as well, is the politicians aren't even talking about those many details. Before we can even fix the system at large right now, we got to focus on the system we currently have and then expound on that. After we figure out the blockages and what's slowing down the system and add sufficient personnel, then we figure out how to strengthen the borders and things like that and make it more secure and more protected. But other than that,
and can I add one other thing? Also, a big component of it is also Americans, especially Americans that have not traveled anywhere. They don't fucking know anything about the world. I mean, the most they've gone to is maybe Mexico. They go to Jamaica. They have a European trip maybe as a teenager, whatever, with their school. They don't understand the effect of American foreign policy on the rest of the world. They don't understand it on the I lived in South America for almost 4 years, right? In Ecuador. I saw firsthand what American foreign policy does to when you're on the other end of American foreign policy. That's some real shit, dude.
I know.
That is that fucks up whole countries. That's why they're running here, right?
Trust me, we know. A lot of immigrants know. That's why, no matter what, I would always rail against American foreign policy. That's something I would absolutely. So that's why when I was going in on Kamala, when she was saying American leadership, me from the other side of it, I'm like, look what American leadership has brought us. It's not something that we want right now. If anything, we need to lead ourselves before we start trying to lead other nations and tell them what to do, because our policies are they're literally having fucking guerrilla forces sprout up in different countries, right? we're seeing is because people
Right.
are rebelling right now. It's a big problem, and so we
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. But here's the thing that you don't want to fall into. You don't want to fall into America bad because there are other actors, right? There are other players out there, and also let's face it, dirty secret is that the reason why America has superpower status and we benefit. I mean, we all benefit from it inside the what do you call it? The hegemonic power that we live in inside the superpower. We have most of us have no idea what it actually takes to have your dollar as the world's reserve currency. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a big fucking deal. Like if we did not have that, our way of life would change over fucking night.
But
Right? So it requires things. It requires a superpower to act in a very dastardly way to make those things happen, and we have to acknowledge that shit.
Our geography also plays a huge part into that because we're not.
Oh, of course it does, but
because that's the problem with American policies. Like, and that's the issue I see with Ukraine right now and the wavering support that we have with them. Because the reason why America's support is so wishy-washy, because a lot of times it doesn't affect us. Like when you look at Poland and how gung-ho they are when Poland is trying to ramp up their support and they're doing everything. They're pretty much doing what the Germans should be doing right now, but the Germans aren't doing that. They're playing politics, right? The reason why Poland's doing because the threat of Russia is existential for them, right? And the reason why in American politics we can wax and wane, and one president can come in here and say, you know what, I don't want to send money. The other person can say, I want to send money. The reason why we can do that because geographically speaking, it's not even something that it can affect us at home, right? Because Poland is an existential threat, right? I'm talking about a direct situation, right? But the U.S. is different. So that's another.
But the U.S. also has economic interests, right? And do you see what I'm saying? So even though, they can't come over here and invade the United States. The United States also, like, we produce so much excess food, goods, services. Our population is not big enough to absorb all that stuff. So it needs external markets to be able to sell into. Our largest export market is the European Union. So we are, or I shouldn't say we because it's not really you or I, but it's our government and the stakeholders, which are massive corporations, are very jealously are like, no, there's nothing that they will allow to disrupt that. And we will eventually find it. We'll if that gets disrupted, every single American will feel that. So American foreign policy stems directly from that motive to begin with. Once you can accept that, now you can start to peel back the onion to see what's going on.
Because you kind of already mentioned the economic aspect in the previous answer too. There's a huge part of it, right? But I was just mentioning the geographical aspect to it, well, because it's not just a one thing. There's a lot because even when you brought up the question of how Americans don't really know much outside of America, that also it plays a huge part into it too as well. Because you talk about the schooling and whatnot, you talk about the lack of encouragement to get guys into programs where we can have them travel the world, like a Peace Corps, shit like that, where you can what's going on in other countries, see what life's really like, right? And even going to your other point, I don't know how long you've been following this channel, but you notice how many times I've been following you for
a while, man. I mean, you do good work, but there's some things that I'm like, I want to like tear my hair out when I hear you say some stuff. But I've been following you for a while.
I say things that most people don't agree with, and that's why we have dialogue. But the thing is, like, you've heard me say though, like, I don't agree with America's policies, but I do like.
Nor do I.
Like it's the best we've got. I've always said that, so I would never doubt that. But it's just one of those things where, when we're looking at it, we could do better, right? We could do better at home.
A lot better, yeah. Right? So if can I ask you a question though? So about Ukraine, because that's what kind of sort of got popped off in the chat, right? Good. Where we kind of like butted heads a little bit. So my contention with Ukraine is a couple of things. Firstly, NATO is purely an American project. The dirty little secret is that.
So I don't think we're.
No. But okay. It is. But that is what. So we may. It's sort of like with the American dollar, right? So the average person thinks, "Oh no, we want to have a really high dollar." Actually, that's the exact opposite. We don't want. the United States doesn't, to our population, we want everyone to believe that we want our dollar to be supreme, but actually we want it to be just a little bit below our OECD competitors, right? Because we want our exports to be attractive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So similarly with NATO, what we want to, the propaganda that our government puts out there is that, oh no, these are the governments that are in an alliance together and we're all equals and whatever. But that's not the truth. The truth is that the United States wants to dominate NATO because that is America's political project on the European continent,
Well,
right?
here's the thing.
Because we want our bases everywhere. We trade. There's economics for security, right? They say, hey, we don't want you to invest in your military as much as you normally would. We want to have our bases extend all throughout the planets, right? So that we have a forward operating base everywhere.
It's NATO
That's the
expansion.
game.
And that's what I was breaking down. When I say NATO expansion, I say America. It's American imperialism.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I mean. Is that because NATO is? I'm saying because I don't know if NATO is really economical. It's more of a, to me, I think it's like a military.
It's a military alliance. Yeah.
Military alliance. So I think the EU is probably a different thing altogether.
It's an economic. Yeah.
Right. So my thing is like with NATO though, like that's the problem. We're expanding a military alliance to all these countries, and we have other countries who are directly opposed to that, and they're saying, those countries are red lines for us. If you decide to start flirting with that, all right, and we know it's a military alliance, well, guess what? We don't want on our border, so we're gonna invade, right? And that's essentially what it is. When we're talking about the annexation of Crimea, right? What essentially that was so NATO doesn't have access to that the Black Sea ports, right? Or at least the warm water ports out there. So Russia dominates. Because I mean, think about it. What would you want nuclear submarines floating around in your fucking Black Sea there, right next door? Most people would say.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the Russians actually had an arrangement with the Ukrainians to lease the port from the Ukrainians, right? So,
I'm sorry. Say that again.
I believe that the Russians had an agreement with the Ukrainians to lease the ports from the Ukrainians, right? So they had some access, some limited access, right?
They did.
But that does not give them and more importantly,
the thing is, there's one thing getting access, right? And I don't agree with what Russia did. So just being clear on this here. But it's one thing to have that access, and there's another thing is while you're giving them access, Russia then is spying on you, and they're knowing that you are having plans on entering or at least flirting with this military alliance. So to them, they say, yeah, we're flirting with this right now, but we know what you're doing behind the scenes. So
can I ask you a question?
We're gonna just jack this, and that's what they did. They just jacked it. They just took it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that the United States would invade Russia?
No.
Why?
Absolutely not.
Why?
No. It'd just be.
But why? Why? What's the reason why?
Mutually assured destruction. You're good.
Yeah, because they have nuclear weapons, right? So let's peel it back. Let's peel it back to what you just said, though. You said that NATO having a.
Can I say this before you say that, so you can keep this in mind? There's a different rules for proxies, and nations acting on behalf or proxies on behalf of other state actors. So that's a different rule for that. So with that said, go ahead and carry on.
Okay, so like Saddam Hussein gave up his nuclear program, got invaded, right? Libya gave up their actual nuclear weapons. Muammar Gaddafi ended up with a stick up his ass being dragged out of a hole, right? So lesson is don't give up your nukes, right? North Korea, the reason why we could squash them overnight, but the thing is they have nukes. They could unleash that on our allies that are nearby or on our west coast. I don't know if it'll reach us, but they can at least our near allies to them, Japan, etc., South Korea, they can unleash it on them. The key is that once you have a nuke, it changes the calculus, right? So anyone that's bordering, it doesn't matter if every single state on Russia's border is allied with the United States. The United States would never invade them because of mutually assured destruction. That's
Right,
the first
but
point.
again,
Second point is,
but we gotta take a look at what's happening in Ukraine right now because there's been a bunch of red
Mhm,
lines that have been pushed back. All right, and Russia
mhm.
still hasn't done shit. Right, and it's just one of those things. Not
Right,
saying
because
they
they
haven't.
can't. They
Right,
can't.
yeah, right. But not only because they can't, is because politicians are playing these weird games when they're walking that fine line. So they're actually committing aggression. But the problem is,
Mhm,
it's such on a fine line. So, for instance, you got troops going in who are, what do you call it? Not troops, weapons, right? But being
mhm,
trained with troops being trained on these weapons, and they are,
mhm,
Western made, right? They're being sent
mhm,
off. So we got Western weapons, Western tanks. We got Western Abrams in Ukraine right
mhm,
now, shooting out
mhm,
Russian tanks and all these different things. Okay,
mhm.
so
Yeah, yeah,
that's what you see all. See what I'm saying? So that's
yeah.
also a part of it when you have all these different packages and all these different support in there.
Sure,
You're giving essentially it's like America is testing its weapons against Russia. That's essentially what I'm seeing,
sure,
right?
sure, sure, sure. There's some of
But
that
I'm not
going
saying
on.
just America. I'm just saying like Western
Yeah, the
technology.
British are doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
But
Western
but here's the
technology.
other thing that this is the other thing that I wanted to sort of before we get away from it is that there's a unfortunately a belief that somehow Ukraine was going to get into NATO. That is so far from the truth because here are the rules of NATO. Ukraine was never going to get into NATO, and they still aren't until well after this war is over, because the rules of NATO are one: if you're involved in a ongoing conflict between you and your neighbor, or there's an internal civil war, you cannot join NATO. And the reason for that is that NATO doesn't want to take on a new member, and then now it inherits that war. Now it has to tell its
Yes,
popular.
yes,
Its,
but part of
hold
the
on again.
reason.
Let me finish. Let me finish real quick. NATO member states don't want to have to now do the political dance to have to convince their public now to go and send their sons and daughters to go and fight this war. That they're like, no, we resolve that shit before you apply for membership. Secondly, membership takes like a decade almost to get through. You have to do political reform, you have to do economic reform, you have to do civic reform. There's a lot of things that have to happen. And on top of that, it has to be unanimous, like the vote by member states. So if you look back in the past, the Germans were not interested at all in NATO joining or Ukraine joining NATO. There were so many roadblocks to them ever joining. They were never, ever, ever even
No,
close to
they
being a member of NATO.
Let
Never,
me, let
never
me, let me
once.
get in word. You may have a point. I don't know if they were ever going to get into it, but their first application was put in 1991, right? So that was shortly after the fall of.
Sorry, you're making my points. You're making
No,
my
no, no, no,
points.
no, no. I know, but let me land here. Let me end here because part of what you also said too was, they weren't going to get in because Ukraine had, disputes on its border, right? The Kursk, Luhansk, and all those different things.
Even before that,
Right.
they were never
Right.
going to be made
No,
members.
I know, but I'm actually breaking down what you said though, and part of the reason why I'm breaking it down is because there was something you said that you were missing out. The part of the reason
Mhm.
why that the application was also delayed in terms of Ukraine because they were definitely serious about joining NATO. It's not something that they were
Mhm.
never going to get into. They were definitely serious. You are right about the roadblocks because NATO doesn't want a country who has active internal border disputes to join their problem because they don't want their problems, right? They don't want you to join
That's right. You don't want to
league,
inherit
right?
those problems. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But part of the reason why that the border dispute kept going is because Russia kept fueling that, right? So they kept
Of
funding this.
course, of course.
So right. So again, so
Yeah.
it's part of the
It
game.
freezes the conflict, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's so you see that's what I'm trying to. So we have to include the other state actor too as well because there's a
Yeah.
reason why Russia was putting was funding those
So do you
areas.
understand, based on what you just said, so do you see why they would take Crimea? Because if I take Crimea,
Yeah, you're saying
oh shit,
we're on the
now
same
you
boat.
can't join NATO. Ha, ha, ha.
You're
I
saying
got you.
exactly. You're saying exactly what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
exactly Russia is counteracting what Ukraine was doing. This is exactly what we're on. We're on the same boat. We're not in disagreement here.
Mhm.
It's the thing is, it just comes down to U.S. foreign policy that's dictating this right now, and it's
Right,
not going
but
well. But other than that,
what is
go
what
ahead.
has happened since NATO since Russia's invasion is that two countries joined NATO, right?
Right.
Finland directly on their border, expanding the border something like 1,500 miles or some shit like that. I
Yep.
think it's even more than that actually, right? So my point is that it is immaterial how many nations are on their border because Russia is a massive to take over, and they have, I believe, they currently have the largest nuclear arsenal on planet Earth.
It's not about
Right,
taking
so-
over Russia. It's about destabilizing Russia. That's all it is. It
The-
doesn't. You don't have to
actually,
take
the
over
American-
to stabilize it.
Yeah, but the American government is terrified of instability in Russia because the last thing that the United States wants is for, and we saw this in the 90s when the Soviet Union was breaking apart. They were terrified of nukes getting into
go tell that to
in the hands of the wrong people.
Go tell that to Victoria Nuland, bro. No. They have a very vested interest in breaking up Russia. It's in America's best interest. Matter of fact, it's absolutely in America's foreign policy interest to break apart Russia. That's where
why would the American government and military want the territory of Russia to be splintered into a million different parts, and then for the nukes to be in all kinds of people's hands that are not predictable? Putin might be a fucking idiot in a lot of ways, but he is predictable, right? World leaders want predictability. At least this is the scumbag that I fucking know, as opposed to the scumbag that I don't know. Predictability
world
is
leaders that say they want predictability. We got Kim Jong-un with nuclear weapons threatening to fire off every once in a while. So it still wouldn't matter. Right, because that same, I still think it won't be as, if we have a bunch of these destabilization, it's not going to be a bunch of warlords with nukes. It's not going to be that situation at all, right? And I don't think that the nukes are going to be the first thing they're going to jump into, because they also understand that they run the risk of losing their countries too as well. So mutually assured destruction still has a level of play in there, right? Now, in terms of
who's in charge, right?
Now, you want to have a conversation of tracking the nukes or where that's going to go and whatnot. That's a different story, right? That's a completely different story. But if you want to talk about a vested interest in destabilizing Russia, it's absolutely in America's best interest, foreign policy wise.
I think that what the United States wants out of Russia is they'd love to see Vladimir Putin ease the side and they want to get back to business as usual, which is, hey man,
listen, we have a stable Russia right now, and look what's happening.
No, it's completely unstable. They're completely unstable.
Russia's unstable right now.
Yeah, they are depleting their military stockpile. They are they've lost a million. I'll address that in a second.
For the losses, that's where you're gonna lose. We don't know. Let's wait till the war's over. If we don't know.
They've lost at least 1 million men and women who are professionals that had the resources to leave so that they didn't get drafted into the military, right? So that brain drain is gone. They're losing some of their best and brightest, their youngest people, and they're suffering desperately from population shrinkage, right? And they're sending those people to the front to get grind up like fucking hamburger. And on top of that, they're a pariah on the world stage. Now they're China's bitch, basically, right? They're kneeling down in front of China, begging them for resources to help them.
Here's the thing: you're putting a bunch of things together, right? So first of all, I don't know about that million number because I think they only had one mass mobilization, and the rest has been their reserves. At least that's what they're dealing with.
The first mobilization, 1 million people left the country.
Okay, so they left, but they weren't. Okay, so we got to be specific that they weren't drafted and they didn't lose. Okay, so they
just didn't want to be. They didn't want to be part of it, and so they took off. They left.
Right, that's fine. You got 1 million people,
and those are the people that you need. Those are
180 million people, or 100. How many people?
180. They're about 180.
Yeah. So okay, and those people are going to return back once the war's over. Or at least most of them are. Or some
will they? Will they? Maybe they will.
Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. But that's not affecting the military personnel on the ground, though, and the way. So when they're saying that they're losing, let me get to the one part you said. When you're saying that they're losing weaponry and armory and things like that, not armory, but like artillery and stuff like that. That's not true. Like, as a matter of fact, they
what do you mean that's not true?
It's not true at all, because we've been saying that for the past 2 years. Russia's running out, and yet they're launching.
But they have a massive stockpile.
Okay, so then it makes it incongruent when we're saying, okay, they have a massive stockpile, but then they're also running out. You see that? Then this is it doesn't make any sense, because it starts to make things look inconsistent, because they have been consistently dropping bombs. Like, I think was it what 20,000 munitions? Like, it's crazy. Was it per month or per day? It's insane how much these guys are dropping. So again, those are stuff that we
let's
don't
look
even
at it from the point of view of Russia, right?
What?
Yeah, let's look at it from this perspective.
Yeah.
Prior to the war in Ukraine, it was assumed that Russia was the second most lethal military on planet Earth, right? As it turns out, in their incursion into Ukraine, a country that has a smaller population, smaller military, and smaller economy than Russia, there are no foreign troops on, like fighting in the Donbass. Yeah, we give them weapons and so forth, but the fighting is being done and the dying is being done by Ukrainians. The Russians underestimated their own power, and they should have been able to steamroll fucking Ukraine.
You're
I'll
right.
give you an example. The United States, we've fucking lost in Vietnam, we've lost in Afghanistan, we've lost in Iraq, right? But one thing that did happen is that we dominated the country militarily. But the problem is that if you're not invited there, ain't nobody wants you to like walk around with a gun in the streets and rule over them when we don't speak the language, you don't understand the culture, et cetera, et cetera. So you win all the battles, but you lose the war, right? But at least America is like, I can take over your capital. I can raise your fucking army and run them out of town. But the guerrilla war and the attrition and all that stuff, we can't win. But Russia couldn't even get to Kyiv. Russia couldn't even steamroll a weak-ass Ukrainian army.
Time out. I see where you're coming from, but Ukraine's army, compared to a bunch of guys in Afghanistan and Iraq or whatnot that we steamrolled, like Operation
the Iraqi army had 1 million men.
It's completely different, because one of the main things that we're missing here is air superiority, right? And America, when we fight nations that don't have the capabilities that we do, we immediately establish air superiority, meaning we
did the Russians do that?
Gun and runs, and Russia. They can't establish air superiority.
They have not been. Yeah, they've not been able to.
Right now, it's slowly happening in the East, right? But they weren't able to establish it because you're fighting. You're fighting. Essentially, you're going up against Western weapons, right? You're going against sophisticated.
But before they got the Western weapons, before Ukraine got the Western weapons, the Ukrainian Navy got wiped the fuck out. The Ukrainian Air Force got wiped out.
Let me actually get a word in here. Before Ukraine even got the new Western weapons that they've been shipping since the start of the war, before the start of the war, we've been funding Ukraine to build up their borders
a little bit.
A lot. We've been sending a ton of money to the tune of millions, probably billions.
Look it up.
Hold up, let me actually look it up. But we said we're sending them
prior to 2022.
We train their troops. We built up their defenses. The same defenses now that Russia is now taken down or tearing down slowly in the East. So we did spend a lot of money. We did give them a lot of provisions at first, all right, and that's what stemmed the tide. Because remember, they had that weak ass attempt to try to take over Kiev, and that got repelled like insanely quick by Ukrainians, right? But then ever since then, their strategy has just been slow and methodical with these crazy pincer maneuvers where they surround the Ukrainian troops and then they force them to retreat, and then they keep doing that, and that's how they capture this town. They're basically just surrounding them, cornering them, and then taking over the town because they're cutting off supply lines. So you could see, like, since the start of the war versus now, you could tell their strategy has adopted. And even Russia now,
of course they have. They've evolved.
Go ahead.
But here's my point. I'll say it this way, and I'm not a fan of American foreign wars, and I'll say it this way: I'm to the left of corporate Democrats, right? I'm a progressive, right? So I'm not for these wars, but I do understand.
It's crazy how much, because I'm like right smack dab in the middle, and it's crazy how much we have in common.
Yeah, I don't believe in centrism. Centrism is essentially lukewarm right-wingism. I'm not a centrist. I think centrism is just, I don't know, it's bullshit. But be that as it may. Centrism is. Yeah, centrism is. We can get into like the political spectrum in a second, but what I was trying to say is, when it comes to the United States, if the United States says, I'm going to invade your country at 12 p.m. on a Thursday, on this day and this time, there's almost nothing that you can do about it because that's how lethal and violent the American military is. Now, the question of being able to control and govern a country is a totally different issue, right? America's a total failure at that stuff, complete failure. But Russia has zero capacity of doing that. If they told you the day and the time, they're going to fail because they don't have the same assets or the same doctrine that the United States has, right?
Well,
in terms of how they,
and you're going to see
right?
the United States change up their doctrine pretty soon here, because I think it's all fun and dandy when we're facing off against enemies without the same capabilities as we have, but then when we're running into near peer foes, your doctrine is going to have to switch up. It's going to have to change. If you can't keep up the same tactics, run and gun, because you will leave yourself overexposed. And now we got the one thing that's came out of this new warfare that we're seeing is how important drones are, right? How important, and how slowly the use of tanks and things like that is not as valuable as what we would have back when we were going into Iraq or all these other countries, right? Now it's no different. A $50,000 blow up your $2 million tank.
Yeah.
It's a
but that's an outgrowth of all wars, right? There's innovation in all wars. So this is something that the United States is going to now. I mean, I don't know. How old are you? You're like
30.
20? You're 30?
Now.
Okay. So you probably don't remember the first Iraq, the first Gulf War, where they showed drones on TV for the first time, like a drone hit, blowing up some bridge or some shit like that. Very, not super sophisticated, but it was sophisticated at the time. The United States came up with that stuff. Now it's being done all over planet Earth, but I guarantee you that the United States is learning massive amounts of lessons to be able to deploy this.
Because we're
the
definitely
same sort of shit.
Because like the way we
on the
deployed it
battlefield
back then is not the way that they're deploying the drones right now. The way even Russia is deploying the drones, what they would do, because I've been actually following this war very closely. I know I come up here clown pill poppers, but I'll be on geopolitics a lot. But here's the thing, right? I'll even pull up this map. What the Russian strategy is now, what they do is to control a particular road or cut off particular supplies, they pretty much start doing drone control, right? So they send these kamikaze drones, they fly in, they see a Ukrainian formation, they dive into it and bomb it, right? So that's what they're doing. And then once they take out those or clear out those roads and establish fire control on those roads, then they send in the infantry. And what we're noticing now is versus what Russia used to do in the past, when at the start of this war, where they send in mass amounts of infantry into certain places. Now you're seeing these little pockets of infantry groups being sent in after the drone force. So you're seeing a more methodical approach.
They're adapting.
You're seeing and I think that's what's going to be the future of warfare coming through. When the age of blitzkrieg type style of going in, bombing, running, and taking over shit is done. When we start dealing with
the Ukrainians are doing the same thing. You're seeing them doing this in Kursk. They have like a timed wave of how they're doing it. But I'll just say this way. The Russians, this is their war to lose because they have the upper hand, right? They have they have more manpower. They're not dependent on, they're becoming dependent on others. I mean, they're going to the fucking North Koreans for shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's their war to lose. But the problem is that it's not as easy as what they thought it would be. And unfortunately, superpowers, just like we did, had to learn the hard way that, you might actually go in and bite off more than you can chew. And on top of that, I don't want to fucking live in a world where you can just say, you know what, I want my neighbor's land, and I'm going to fucking take it. And I'm going to take it by force by going in. I'm going to fucking smash up your infrastructure. I'm going to kill your civilians and your military personnel. And I'm going to steal your fucking land. I don't want to live in a world like that. And as a result, the Russians should not be rewarded for that. Not one fucking bit.
But that actually gets me to my point. And actually, this is where I want to actually have us focus on real quick. And we will probably close up on this. And this is my point with NATO, because this is essentially what Russia is testing, right? So when you were talking about earlier where with Finland and all these other countries, they're now, 2 more countries are joining NATO. That's fine. They can join, but the point of NATO is to be a purely defensive alliance, right? Like not purely, but
that's correct.
For
it is, yes.
supposed to be, right? But here's what Russia is now testing, right? They're now saying, okay, Ukrainians are going to this stuff, and the best Americans and all these other countries were doing were either, equipment commitments and all these different things, and even that they came with stipulations, right? And we don't know if they're going to get the permission to even use some of the deep strike weapons into Russia yet, right? So some of the weapons and funding has come with conditions, and now here's the problem that is actually critical for NATO and why NATO or America has to figure out how to resolve this Ukraine problem immediately. Because if Russia succeeds their objective in Ukraine, as they do, what it's going to do is it's going to expose not only to the rest of the NATO alliance, but to the world, right? Saying, hey, listen, so these guys were, they weren't officially a part of it, but America was sort of talking a big game about supporting them, and they failed, right? The rest of the country that was supposed to be part of it, they failed, right? So it's basically making a statement saying, hey, if we decide to go after Poland, or we decide to go into Transnistria, because I think that's going to be the next target after they
Moldova,
and Moldova and all that, right? And then when they start playing with Moldova, and they'll see what NATO does, and because we're still playing this game of, okay, let's play the red lines here, let's not play the red lines here. If we keep playing that game, all of a sudden now, the more they advance, countries in the alliance are going to say, okay, what is this all about? And it goes into that psychological effect that Putin wants too as well, where it's like you can be part of this alliance, but it's purely an alliance in namesake. NATO is essentially useless, and that's I'm not saying it is, but that's the image he wants to portray. So it's a multi-faceted.
Sure. I wouldn't say that he doesn't want to discredit NATO, but I would say it's because NATO is he going to try to put troops onto a NATO country soil? Most likely not. But here's what I would say that the United States already failed and NATO failed in when Russia went to war against the Chechens, went to war against the Georgians, and then in 2014 when they took Crimea. So what happened basically there? Russia takes an aggressive act, attacks Georgia, snatches up 20% of their land, and freezes and says, "Okay, we'll do a peace deal." So now you're being forced to the table to give up your own fucking land, right? So they get 20% of Georgia. NATO and the United States doesn't fucking do anything. They go into Chechnya. The first time they get their asses handed to them. The second time they go into Chechnya, they finally kill off the warlord, and then the scumbag that's in there now, Ramzan, his son is Kadyrov, is a fucking bitch, and licks his boots and coddles his fucking balls in his mouth.
Right?
Exactly. So
they're redeploying.
So he vowed after his countrymen gave up their lives to protect the country, he fucking stabs them in the back and is Putin's bitch. Okay, so he gets by default Chechnya, and then now with the Ukrainians under Obama, he comes in, takes Crimea, nothing fucking happens to him. So of course he's thinking, and then Trump comes in, doesn't do shit, doesn't force him out of Ukraine, doesn't force him out of Crimea, doesn't say, hey, you know what, we're going to sanction you, whatever. So what does Putin think to himself? You know what? I'm going to take a little piece more of Ukraine. As a matter of fact, maybe I can take the whole thing over, but that fails. But what he's playing for now is, I'm going to take as much of your land, and then when I can't take any more, you're going to have to be forced to the table and give up a piece of your own fucking land.
That's where, and I'm going to end on this, but I think that's where I don't think that's going to happen, especially now. I don't think and if you,
that's what people that are like, do peace are saying.
I know. We can say peace.
Let them steal it and reward them for it.
I think it's in the best interest of Russia to pretend, and I don't think when Russia is saying we want peace, I don't think they're serious. I think they're lying. I don't think they do.
They want all of Ukraine if they could get it.
Exactly right. So we're on the same page. They want
but they're not going to be able to get all of it. It's impossible.
Not all of it.
How are they going to monitor How are they going to monitor? What is Ukraine? Ukraine is something like 80 million people.
When they come to the negotiating table, if they do, right? If they do, right? I think one of the big stipulations is the regime that's currently in there with Zelensky and everything backing them. They're going to want it to be more pro-Russian, right? Kind of like how it was before Zelensky got into power,
But why would a population that's been abused by the Russians, their sons and daughters fucking slaughtered, murdered, and shit by the Russians? Why would those people turn around and say, you know what, we're gonna be more pro-Russian? No, they're gonna be like
the citizens of Belarus. Go ask the citizens of
well,
all these other
yeah, but Belarus is what's his name? Poroshenko? Is it Viktor Poroshenko? Lukashenko. His own people were trying to were trying to snatch him out of office, and he got saved by fucking Putin. Putin sent reinforcements to keep him in office. So his population, the population of Belarus, doesn't like their leadership. But because Putin is saving his ass and propping him up, that's why that's another way of controlling a country, right? The leadership is unpopular, but I stand. It's sort of like what we did in Afghanistan, right?
The reason why I'm a little hesitant. The reason why I'm a little hesitant with Belarus is because, again, I'm still like, even though we could say the people rose up against, the old regime there, I'm a little hesitant to just believe that, especially knowing how American foreign policy and influence works. When we say people are rising up all of a sudden to overthrow a government, I'm thinking, okay, what's the interest?
It's less to do with us, and it's less to do with us and more to do with people there. Just like our shit is not. We're not seeing any progress. This motherfucker is rich as fuck, and he's not doing shit for us. So of course they're gonna be upset and rise up against him. And one of the proofs that we know that that Belarus is not going to do shit is because he needs his military at home to protect his ass. He's not trying to send his military overseas to go and get caught up in a war.
It's a way to stage and keep the Ukrainians off balance.
To keep them off balance, but he does not dare to put them in there because they don't want to go and fucking die for that. And on top of that, he needs his military at home to protect the regime. Right? They're not Russia. Yeah. They're a fucking vassal state of Russia, essentially, right? That's all they are. They're just a puppet state. So he'll never really do anything for his own to save his own skin. But my ultimate point is, I get the anti-war feeling. I'm against what happened in Afghanistan and in Iraq because we got fucking nothing out of it. Murdered a bunch of people, smashed up their country. For fucking nothing, trillions of dollars pissed down the toilet that could have been spent here. But just because we made those mistakes in the past does not mean that when there's an opportunity to do the right thing, that we shouldn't be doing the right thing on the right side of an issue, even if it's for our own selfish interests. Because nation states don't have friends, they have interests, right? So in the case of Ukraine, I am 100% like, no, they should be supported, and they deserve to have all of their land back. Now, in the case of Israel, totally different issue, right? That is more of an issue of Israel is America's bitch, right? Israel is a diplomat, a political and diplomatic.
How I feel like sometimes it's the other way around, but like
it seems that way. Yeah, I understand why you feel that way, but hear me out. Israel is a political and military outpost of the American empire. It's the United States that gives Israel billions of dollars every fucking year without question, that provides them with an Iron Dome, that provides them with weapons, that runs interference for them in the international bodies like the UN,
why, right?
International Criminal Court. It's not because they are our proxy to do our dirty work in the Middle East, right? To keep a tab on all those motherfuckers over there. But here's our Achilles heel.
Iran.
Sort of, because remember, for Iran, they have to fly over multiple countries. The United States
they dropped what a couple months ago. They dropped a massive bomb on
them,
drone factory.
But to do
right now, they want.
Yeah, sure, of course they do, because they want to draw us in so that we wipe out Iran. Yeah. They want to draw us in so that we do the dirty work of wiping out Iran, because Iran backs Hezbollah and Hamas, right? They want the sponsor to be destroyed, essentially. But here's the reason why I think a lot of Americans get it wrong. Israel is our bitch. They are our vassal state. They do nothing that they do is not without our permission, right? But the problem is that there's a flaw. There's a flaw in the American system, which is we have something called campaign donations or legalized bribery that occurs. So the state of Israel is able to take advantage of that flaw and come in and give money to politicians and say, hey, listen, do our bidding, do our bidding. I'm going to lavish you with a lot of money to be on our side. And if you don't, we're going to give it to your rivals. And guess what politicians love? They love that power. They love the office. They love when people say senator such and such and president, blah, blah, blah. And bow and they love it. They're intoxicated by it and they don't want to give it up. And Israel recognizes that. And so they give them campaign donations to maintain a posture, a light touch toward Israel, keep the money flowing, etc. Meanwhile, from the American government's perspective, we want an outpost in the Middle East. And we want that outpost to do our bidding.
It's a trade-off, but yeah,
it's a trade-off, exactly. But I do not agree with Zionism. And I believe that we're doing the wrong thing by supporting the genocide.
I hear you, Steve. I appreciate it. Like we got it for a minute. It's almost
We got
it for a minute. Yeah. I would end off on this. Like again, I think there was some misunderstanding in the chat. I'm glad that you came up.
A little bit. I was getting a little bit heated because I'm like, I don't like to hear incomplete information, so to speak,
right?
Because it's like, wait a minute, the answer's right in front of us. It's right in front of us. Like what I just said about Israel. It's right in front of us. It's not mysterious. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you. Like again, it's not. So I guess it was just maybe misunderstanding what I was saying. But it's I don't disagree. We're talking now. We had a chance to expound on it. So we're all in the same boat. It's just where we know exactly where the blame is. It's just that we're not really taking the proper steps to do it. But it's been good talking to you, man. It's good to finally talk.
For sure.
All right,
for sure.
And I have another one.
Keep busting up those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Keep busting up those pill poppers because it seems trivial, but it's actually extremely important because, as you know, all this online stuff that was going on before, let's say 2013, like 2013, 2014, all that stuff in the Gamergate era, all that stuff has come mainstream now. All these things are. People say that the internet is not the real world, but it actually affects the real world. Yeah. These things are affecting policy, politics, etc. It's feeding up into the mainstream, and it has to be fought against. And what you're doing against these pill poppers is fucking essential. Like, they need to be torn down. Like, they're putting out a culture out there that is misogynistic. It's backwards. I mean, fucking Myron, like, total racist stance. And I'd love for you to do a stream about how there's a lot of anti-blackness in our space, meaning like immigrants that are black that come in from overseas, and how we buy into that white supremacy in a way to be like, well, we're sort of better than the black folks there, when in fact we're not. They're the black folks that were here before us are the reasons why we're able to be here, to have the freedoms that we have. And Myron hasn't figured that fucking shit out yet. So that needs to be talked about aggressively.
And keep doing what we got to do, but I can't do it without your support, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Thanks for the chat, and hey, man, I hope to catch up with you again.
Of course, good conversation. See, chat, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. We can have conversations, and whatnot, because I think a lot of it is, you know, we when we talk or when we say certain things and we don't expound on it, like, we can get, you know, it can get misrepresented. But ultimately, this is what happens when we have dialogue. It turns out we're probably on some wavelength, on some level, on the same wavelength, right? So that's why, like, when you see this kind of style that you see that's going on in politics right now, where people are doing this short, quickie type of debate style tactics, no one's really learning anything, and, you know, we're not really growing from it. But I mean, that's the society we live in today. Yo, shout out to you, chat. This live stream went, you know, in all sorts of directions, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love every minute of it. We did some copyright warning on this little stream thing here, so I don't know if this stream is going to get flagged after I post it, but we don't know. But if it does, I don't know what's going to happen with it. We'll see, right? But because I was watching, I'm like, damn, bro, what's going on? What happened? But it is what it is, bro. But like, it's good that we have these conversations anyways, and if it does get flagged, I'll clip it. I just got to figure out what got flagged, but it is what it is. But shout out to you guys, yeah, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. This was fun. Let me know what you guys thought about the conversation in the chat too, right? I mean, we'll see how that works. But yeah, you know, don't be don't fall in the echo chambers, and be a good person. That's just try to be. It is what it is, right? A shout out to you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Oh shit, I forgot. There's a video I gotta show you guys. This shit is crazy.
Copy my whole fucking flow, word for word, bar for bar.